Adventure abounds in the action-packed Diesel Arcana world of Bana, where magic is tempered by science and daily life is shaped by incredible magically engineered inventions. The government of the Commonwealth and the ethically questionable syndicates compete for the hearts and souls of the people, while you and your fellow freelancers work from the shadows to defend and serve the Commonwealth, or to sell your skills to the highest bidder. In a world where vat-grown elemental motes power the machinery of industry and war, and the demiplane of the void holds secrets beyond imagination, you will find yourself at the crossroads of fortune and fate. As a lancer, you embrace the unpredictability of Banor, taking on dangerous assignments and facing the unknown with steely resolve. The sprawling city of Rinmark lies at the heart of this ethertech empire, where tall aeroships glide among the skyscrapers, and the lower levels of the city echo with the sounds of forging elemental cores. But behind the glimmering facade, dark forces plot, ancient entities lurk at the periphery, and the very balance of power teeters on a knife's edge. As you delve into the secrets of this world and uncover the mysteries of ancient artifacts, your paths will cross with other intriguing personalities from around the world. From government agents to shadowy criminals, from elemental savants to curious outsiders, your choices will shape the destiny of the Commonwealth and define your place in this world of both machine and magic. Embrace your role, harness the elements, and let the adventure unfold in the pulsating heart of the strange and grim.
And we should be there. Hello everybody, welcome to episode 2 of Highlife, a strange and grim RPG adventure. For those of you who are watching for the first time and don't know what strange and grim is, it's a developing Dieselpunk RPG that is being produced by Gaxx, written by myself and Luke Gaxx and a couple other folks that are helping, including these fine people you see in front of you today, helping play test and really kind of develop the world itself. As I said, this is episode 2, so thank you for joining us. Before we get started, I do want to thank all of our sponsors, which help make this show and other shows on the Gary Cohen channel possible, which include Fat Dragon Games, Hero Forged, Penny Dragon, Gaxland, Gaxx Worx. Who am I missing? Frog God Games, Troll Lord Games, all contributing. Oh, and Fantasy Grounds, all contributing to the stream, to the channel, and to GaryCon, most importantly, which is pretty much why this channel exists and why we're all here today. GaryCon itself will be at the end of March, and we'll be celebrating 50 years of Dungeons and Dragons this year. So for those of you that are able to go for the entire time, that will be starting. Oh, now I'm going to have to look at a calendar. I should have those dates memorized. Be starting. It'll basically be 10 days of gaming. So it'll be starting on March 15th, the evening of March 15th, which is a Friday. We'll run over 15, 16, 17 March for what we're calling Founders and Legends. Yep, Founders and Legends will run, and that's essentially going to be a scaled back, more cozy version of the convention, where you're going to get the opportunity to meet a lot of the founders and legends of Dungeons and Dragons. You have the opportunity to get in and roll dice with them directly. And then we'll have some gaming on off for the rest, or starting the first part of that next week, and then GaryCon itself kicks off on the 28th of March. Okay, that was a lot to get through. So, why don't we...
See you next time, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
All right, well, why don't we start with some player introductions, and then we'll do a quick recap of what happened last time. And I'll start from top left, so that would be Dr. Priscilla Precious.
So it's me, and I'm never ready. Hi, I'm Milynn. I'm playing Dr. Priscilla Precious. I'm an actress, streamer, and I don't know. I don't know what else I should tell people.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm perfectly fine with that. How about we go to top right, Doc Steele.
Hi, I'm Kyle Vogt. I'm an actor. I do streaming, and I also play various things on these channels. Doc Steele is Dawn, a pharmacist. He's a chemist / pharmacist, and oddly enough, he has a strange quirk in that his hair is somewhat metallic due to a bad experiment that has happened in the past.
Right. Yeah, and yeah, we'll go into characters here in a minute. How about the Colonel?
Hey guys, I'm Erik Wahlberg, longtime gamer. I stream on Gen Con TV on Mondays on a cosplay D&D campaign called Dress to Quest. I also am the content creator for Dad Jokes and Dragons on TikTok, which is Mylynn's favorite TikTok, by the way. And I play Colonel Lazarus. This kid, my friend. So I play Colonel Lazarus Wall, who is also doing a side hustle as an agent here in Strange and Grim.
And last but not least, Aaron, not to be confused with Erik Wahlberg, Aaron Warsog, our Halpkin.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Irrgang. I am a freelance RPG graphic designer, occasional streamer, and I play as many games as I can. So that's me, and my character is Erin Marsach, and she is a spooky little fortune teller she's really not very wise when it comes to whether or not she should lick random things.
She takes unexpected trips.
Yes.
Yes, and we might see some repercussions from that today. I'm not 100% sure just yet.
No, you can lick drugs without anything happening. I know this for a fact.
Yeah, that is a common wives' tale, old wives' tale, I hear. Okay, yeah. So just a quick recap, and again, this is a setting being developed currently. So if you aren't familiar with the origins and the some of the mechanics, Strange and Grim is built on the Everyday Heroes RPG, which is created by Evil Genius Games. It's very similar to 5th edition, but there are some subtle differences, so please don't hesitate to ask us questions in chat if there's something that's unfamiliar with the rules or the origins and classes as well. All right, so a quick recap from last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago now. Basically, what happened was our friends here, our freelancers here in the group, were frequenting their. We're at their God, what was
watering
it called?
hole?
Watering hole is Rita's.
Oh.
Good grief, forgot the name. We're at Rita Red's lounge, where they were having a drink after work and enjoying their some of their downtime, and were approached by one of the waitresses in Red Rita's lounge, asking for help, as since they were frequent visitors to the lounge. She felt like she could trust them, and she said she told them that her brother was missing, and she was worried that he was tangled up in some new drug that he'd been messing around with called Highlife. And after that, they agreed to help her out, and sure enough, seems like that is probably the case, that whatever has happened to him and his disappearance, he's been gone for the last 3 days or so, probably involves this new drug called Highlife. And so the freelancers, our group, went around town, the lower levels of the city of Renmark, trying to drum up clues about where the missing brother might be, and we ended last session having just infiltrated, well, not really infiltrated, broke into...
I infiltrated it.
That's very true. Our Halpkin infiltrated, and everybody else broke the door down.
The rest of us ventilated.
That's a much better word, ventilated the drug den, which is exactly where we dropped off and stopped the session last time, and we will pick up today. So with that being said, I think there's three or so unconscious drug dealers. There's a ton of, I say a ton, there's probably 6 or maybe 8 people that are clearly suffering or enjoying, whichever way you want to look at it, the effects of Highlife around the room. And then there's 2 guys that you took down in the room. One that was armed with a shotgun, who was clearly going to try and do you harm, and then I think another one that was
Had a pistol.
that was down there as well.
I believe Dr. Princess.
Precious.
Dr. Precious. Exploded her mouse, her robot mouse on shotgun guy's foot.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, the guy with the shotgun wasn't knocked out by the knockout gas that the Doc Steele threw in the room. Several of them were taken out by that, but there was one or two that were left standing, and a explosive mouse was then thrown at his foot, and it detonated and took him down. So I think he's the only one that's down from physical wounds. There's several other people that are unconscious.
I did shoot the person with the pistol with my my bolt gun.
Yep.
My bolt pistol.
Yeah,
But-
I thought there were 2 in the living room area.
And I beat up the door with my foot.
You did.
Yeah, that's right. The door will never be the same.
It's no longer adorable. I will
Boo.
reach. I'm gonna grab that shotgun that's on the floor.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you recognize it as something you've seen in advertisements or something like that in the newspaper, but it's one of those newer Aethertech weapons that shoots a blast of acid versus shotgun pellets. Pretty nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Checking to make sure the gentleman who had the shotgun is not dying. That he's just unconscious. But
He is not in good shape.
I'll
So
try
he
and stabilize
probably,
him.
I mean, you don't know if he's just going to sit there and bleed, but he's definitely could use some medical attention.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to stabilize him.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and give me a roll. Medic check on that one. Anybody else going to do anything while we're... So the good Doc Steele kneels down and helps the guy that was just had his foot blown off.
25.
No problem. So you stabilize him, or begin to stabilize him. You're pretty confident you can get his wounds under control.
I don't think we... Should we close that door?
What door?
Is it closable?
Yeah, bits and pieces you can make them fit.
I mean, you feel you can probably get it to where no one can see in. Whether or not it's going to latch remains to be seen.
I walk over and I kind of, position it, just kind of lay it up against the doorway. How's that?
It's
Good.
beautiful.
It doesn't
sure
fall
that'll
off
work?
its hinges, so it's so you're a step in the right direction anyway.
I always wanted to be an interior decorator.
Recorator, nice.
I like to grab the shotgun.
Oh, Doc Steele already picked it up.
Oh, I'd like to walk over to the 2 guys that are knocked out and just make sure they stay knocked out.
Okay. Yeah, there's 2. As you walk in, there's a kitchen off to your left, and then it opens right up into the living room, which admittedly is pretty small, but off to your left were the 2 that were initially dropped by the sleeping gas.
Right.
And they are sawing logs. They seem to be very comfortable and content.
I'll go down on one knee, just kind of looming over them, waiting for them to wake up or not.
Okay, great. Aaron?
Erin's gonna basically loot the room. She's gonna check all the sleeping people, and she's gonna look for more drugs to take off the street. She's a giver.
Yep, it's very conscientious of you. Okay, yeah, well, there's a lot of used containers, and interestingly enough, what you didn't notice before is that as you start to pick around at these people, like I say, there's probably, let's just say 7 folks in here that are blitzed on, they're unaware of anything that's going on in the room, as they've clearly taken a dose of Highlife recently, and some of them still have it in their hands, some of them have dropped it on the floor, whatever. But in the dim light, you notice that these vials, even with just the residue, are kind of glowing. like an iridescent glow in the dim light of the room.
It's very pretty.
Mm-hmm. It is very pretty. You should probably collect them.
I will. I mean, I don't want anybody to get this by accident.
Yeah, think of the children.
Think of the children. It's much safer this way.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, so you start walking around collecting the vials.
By the way, did anybody go out and check on that Milynn guy?
No? Who?
The one who let you in, who's knocked out in the hallway.
Nice.
We might want to get him somewhere secure so he doesn't run off and bring back reinforcements.
Right. Yeah, so the combat started by one of the guys at the door, outside the doorway, raising the alarm and trying to stab our colonel. He was knocked out in short order. But he is still laying in the hallway. You don't, none of you, I mean, you certainly are more than welcome to bring him inside, of course, just as a precaution, but you don't get the impression that he would necessarily stand out, just laying in the hallway in this part of...
I was thinking more that I didn't want him getting up and going and getting reinforcements than being noticed.
Sure.
All right, I'll walk over and I'll pick him up like a sack of potatoes and just drag him.
Just unplug that real quick. Okay. Yeah, that's no problem. So you, the more you use the door, the more it appears like it might fall off, but it doesn't fall off as you open it and pull him back in. Dr. Precious, what are you up to?
I'm just in the corner building a little bot, taking it all in.
Sure. All right.
Is just this sort of like single room with the kitchenette, or is there a back room with another door or something else?
Yeah, there's another. Yeah, there's a bedroom, a bedroom off to the. So if there's a kitchenette off the left, and then you walk into what's the living room off the left again, past the kitchen is a closed door bedroom. You assume a bedroom.
Well, if I've stabilized the shotgun guy to the point where he's looking okay, I'm gonna go check that door.
Okay.
If not, just let me know.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I need Aaron, or Halpkin. Can you please roll a? Let's see. How about a? Do you have occult?
I believe I do.
Okay. Yeah, give me an occult check, please. Doc Steele, it takes you about a minute or so to really get him stabilized and bandaged up, and you're confident he will be okay. He may lose the foot, but you're not gonna lose the patient.
Die. He'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Here they're doing wonderful things with prosthetics these days.
That's right.
What is occult based on? Int?
It should be intelligence, yeah.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and sit down on the guy I drug in and pull out my knife and start cleaning my fingernails.
That's a big Jotun sitting on a little person.
That's right.
I got a 14.
14. Okay. 14. You are picking up the vials, and you have to get. So there's one that's in the hand of one of the guys, one of the addicts, and you kind of pull his hand back. You have to touch his fingers to get his hand open. And as soon as you touch his hand, you are positive you have seen, or you see this. It almost feels like a reflection, but it's similar to what you experienced when you took a tiny dose of Highlife the first time. But you see tendrils off of each one of the people that, for just a split second, as you touch his fingers, these tendrils appear above everybody's hands, like overlaid over your vision, similar to, like, say, what you experienced when you first took the drug.
Like they were connected to something, or like they had like.
Yeah, just like these ethereal, like it's kind of hard to describe because you don't see it, but in your mind's eye, that you get this impression, almost like after you've looked at the sun for a second, you get these
Yeah.
images of tendrils attached to each of the people that are drugged out here.
Did I get the sense they were all like aiming in the same direction or kind of scattered?
No, they were all sort of. So if you're facing this guy here, they were all the people behind you. It was coming over your head, and then the ones in front of you were kind of going out maybe out the window or out towards the out of the building.
So generally in one direction. So she.
Yep.
She tries touching his hand again. She's like, what's going on? And
Work. Why aren't you working?
Work.
Nope, it doesn't come back. It was a very brief, like I say, almost a burn image for a brief second, enough to startle you, and you're like, "What was?" You look around. Nobody else appears to have seen it. Dr. Precious is still working on her robot, and the colonel's cleaning his fingernails near just a couple feet from you, and nobody seemed to notice anything. About that time, Doc, are you opening the door, or what are you doing with the door, Doc Steele?
Oh, once I get over to it, I'm gonna listen to it and see if I hear anybody inside.
Okay, sure. Roll. Give me a perception check, please.
That's another 25.
Good grief. Okay. You are positive there's no sound in the room. However, with your perception, with a roll of 25, you notice that there is some sort of compound at the base of the door. So maybe
Like
almost
a booby
blocking. What's that?
Like something blocking the door as a booby trap or something?
No. It's like a white powdery compound that's been spread in front of the door, blocking the space between the door and the floor on the ground. It's like a chalky white substance.
I'll want to analyze that to see what that is.
Sure.
What's that roll?
It would probably be. That's a really good question.
Is that going to be natural sciences? Is that going to be?
I would think it probably would be natural sciences. Makes a note to consider adding a chemistry skill.
I mean, natural sciences does cover those.
Yeah.
Well, that's only going to be a 21.
Only 21. Okay. You are positive, just in some of the work that you've done in the recent past, you know for sure this is lime.
Okay. Does it look like it's been disturbed, or is it left here for a particular reason? In other words, was it spilled, or was it
No, it is certainly purposeful because it covers the whole door. It's been like poured out, but you can see that there have been in the past people that have maybe shuffled through it or kicked it to some degree, but it's been replaced. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. There's smudges, but it's got a new line that's complete.
Yep.
Aaron.
What? Did you see the tentacles? The tendrils? What?
What? No. I was wanting to know if this was something that you might understand. Is this some sort of occult thing? There's this powder here that's blocking this door. Is it some sort of seal?
Well, let me look. And she comes over. She's looking suspiciously at all the people in the various states of being drugged, and she gets to the door and she crouches down, looks. It's not uncommon for barriers to be made out of Like, say, salt or
This is lime.
crushed. Oh. Do I know anything that would be useful for?
You can give me another occult check if you'd like.
17.
17. You're confident in the rituals and seances and things that you've worked with. You've never used lime, or nothing that you've ever heard of requires lime.
Maybe using it as some sort of cleaning agent or something to keep smells from coming in. There might be something in there that we don't necessarily want to be exposed to.
Maybe there's a snail in there.
Not quite the same thing, but I know what you're thinking.
Should have put a snail.
It's the infinite snail that tries to kill you.
Flail snail.
Wants a hug.
Well, I'll check and see if the door's locked. Turn the handle.
Nope, not locked.
Assuming it goes into the room, not out.
That's correct.
Then I'll open the door.
Okay. So you open the door and you just glance down and you can see that the door has smudged lime over time, so it actually is a nice fan of lime as you open the door.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as the door opens, the smell of death is like super overwhelming. It just wafts over you like a big wave. The room itself is very
Smells
dark.
like a charnel house.
Yeah. Yep.
More of an abattoir of dead people than food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the room itself is pretty dark, but you can make the outline of a white bedcloth you can see the outline of the bed. It's light enough from behind you that you can see the outline of the bed, but there appear to be people on it or bodies on it.
Like a large number, or just a couple, or?
From your brief examination, it looks like just a couple.
I'm not sure what they're doing in there, but this may be where they're storing people who don't quite come out okay from this experience.
That's pleasant.
Yeah.
We could always just wait till one of these yahoos wake up and ask them what's going on.
I'm gonna step in anyway. Keep an eye on them. I'm just gonna see if there's any indication of what might have killed these people.
Okay. What are you using for a light source?
Is there a light switch or something in here?
Yeah, you fumble around for a second, and you do find a light switch.
Okay. Click it on.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Walk
All right.
over.
So the light takes a second to burn to life, and then it lights up the room, and you can see that there are probably 4 bodies covered with a white cloth on the bed, but there's probably 4 or 5 more that have been kind of cork boarded up against the stacked like corkwood over behind the bed. So you walk in, the room itself is pretty plain, just the bed. There's a couple of bedside tables, but it hasn't been used for that. It hasn't been used in a bedroom capacity for quite some time, it appears.
I'm going to pull out my handkerchief, and I'm going to pull something out of my chemistry kit, like ammonia or something, to neutralize the smell so I can function in here without too much trouble. And just cover up. Am I starting investigating, examining the bodies to see if it looks like they OD'd or if there was some violence involved or something?
Gotcha. All right. So you hear Doc and Aaron coughing, and within about 30 seconds of you hearing a door open in the back room, this smell of death and decay just overwhelms both of you, and it fills the apartment. So Dr. Precious and Colonel, you both are smelling the stench now.
Give us a warning next time.
I gather up the bots I've been working on and move out to the hallway and quietly shut the door behind me.
Okay. All right. You guys hear the front door open and shut. Some grumbling outside the room.
I'll take my knife. I'll cut off that guy's shirt that I'm sitting on and just wrap it like a face cloth.
I was wondering where you're going with that. Okay. Got it. Cut off his finger,
here,
ear. Yeah.
I have expect some kind of shenanigans to happen soon, so I'll go ahead and start putting my rifle together while I'm sitting on the guy's still.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Erin's gonna she's gonna stick her finger in the vial that the guy that the one with that she had that weird experience for, and she's just gonna lick a little bit and see if the tendrils are attached to these people either.
I gotcha. Okay. Okay, first, Doc Steele, go ahead and give me a medical check, please. Medical roll.
It's 24.
24. Okay. Yes. So you start looking at the bed or the floor first. Who are you?
The people on the bed first.
Okay. Yeah. Pull back the sheet. They're in various states of decay. Some have been here quite a bit longer than some of a couple of the newer ones. None of them appear to have any
external
knife
trauma
wounds or guns wounds, external trauma, that sort of thing. They don't appear to have been killed. So nothing obvious at face value. However, they are all very emaciated.
Any lividity in the skin or anything in the eyes, indication that this like it is an overdose?
You don't know for sure.
I'll note if there's any evidence or indicators, just as keeping track of this possible as symptoms of OD on the Highlife.
I gotcha. Okay. Okay. Yeah. You make
I'll be
note
busy doing that.
Yeah. Right. You make note of some. You make note of the more recent bodies that have better evidence and better get a better idea of maybe what happened to them. Okay. Meanwhile, behind you, the Hauptkin, you hear the cap unscrew on one of the vials, and she's like,
Squeak.
everything's so green. Okay, so this is your third minor dose in 2 hours, something to that effect.
Yeah.
So it has a much more pronounced impact this time, and the vision overlay of the void over yours is much clearer, and you're fully, well, I wouldn't say fully. You are definitely feeling more happy.
Yeah.
But what you're looking at now, the still functional part of your brain is like, oh, you're looking at the void. Like you can see weaves, and for those of you that don't know already, a weave is like a reflection of a memory in the void. So basically everything that happens in the prime material plane is reflected and captured in the void, and so you can start to see some of that materialize in front of your face, Aaron.
Can I see that if I look back behind me, can I still see the tendrils from people, or is that separate from what I'm seeing now?
Yeah, so I'm assuming standing in the doorway of the bedroom?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so you look out, and absolutely, you see these shimmering, almost, not shimmering, like opaque, I don't even know how to describe them. These tendrils of ephemeral. Yes, you see these tendrils attached to each of the people that are in the front, and they're kind of ghostly. There we go. How about ghostly? So there's these ghostly pink tendrils that are attached to every one of the living people up front in the main room. The druggies, not the drug dealers.
Right. And what about the dead people?
Give me another occult check. Actually, you can do occult or perception, whichever's better.
Oh, I might have better perception. Nope, occult is better. Oh, I got a 12.
12? Okay. You are not sure. No, you don't see anything that looks like the same thing you're seeing with the living people out front.
Do I see Aaron like walk over to the bodies and start looking at things?
Yeah,
Nope,
so like
no,
after
Oh, sorry,
so
go ahead.
after I look back and I look forward and then I start walking towards the bodies and I'm like not really looking at what's in front of me, but I seem to be like mostly avoiding anything in the way, and I go over to the bed and I like poke one of them.
Okay. Yes.
Aaron?
So, Doc, you are examining the bodies, and then you hear it's very shuffling, like a drunk person or something. Like it's not picking up her steps or anything. She's kind of shuffling over to the bed behind you, coming up by your left shoulder. And she's reaching for one of the bodies.
Yeah, she reaches over. I give her sort of a side eye and look at her and say, "Aaron, are you all right? You're looking your eyes are a little dilated there."
Don't you see it?
I'm great. I'm seeing things that I've never seen before.
Did you take more of that
Well,
highlight?
that's not true. I've seen them, but more in vision. But people out there are connected.
Connected to what?
I don't know. Something over there.
Which direction are you gesturing?
Out the window, kind of.
Okay. All right. Maybe you should take a rest. You seem to have had a long day.
That sounds nice.
That sounds nice. I'm just gonna crawl in this bed.
Don't sit down in here. You might want to go outside. This is not the best place.
Oh,
By outside, I mean...
halfway through trying to jump on the bed because she's real short. And she's like, oh, okay.
And as she goes towards the door, I go, "All right, by outside, I mean just in the living room. Don't leave the building or anything.
And you're so demanding.
I just don't want you to get lost."
I'm gonna go sit with
I'm
my
never
friends out
lost.
here.
I'm always where I am.
That's great. Okay.
Colonel, keep an eye on Aaron. She's coming out for a quick rest.
Yeah, so Colonel Aaron does come kind of stumbling out. She doesn't look like she's had a long night on the town or anything like that, but she's definitely distracted. Has a very distracted look to her face. She's kind of shuffling her feet as she comes out of the bedroom.
Need some help?
They're all connected.
Can't you see
Need
it?
some help?
It's all going over there. That one. That one.
Yeah, maybe it's
It's
time to go.
interesting. I've run this scenario probably. This is probably the fourth time I've run it, and I've never had anybody take the Highlife before. It's pretty amusing.
Out.
Just a little.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, Doc, give me a perception check real quick.
Sure. That one's not super good. That's only a 19.
Okay. You are confident that something on the other side of the bed has just moved.
Did it move like quickly, skitterishly, or is this like a thud kind of thing, or?
No, not skitterishly, but it was a sudden jerky movement.
Okay.
Just like a crack sound.
Cautiously, I pull out my bolt pistol again and sort of move over that way, prodding where if it was covered up or something. See?
Okay. You go to look over go around the end of the bed and look over to see what's going on, and then out of the corner of your eye, the sheet-covered form sits up on the bed.
One of the ones that I know was dead?
Yeah.
Okay. I move back into the living room.
Okay. Yeah, you see a quick glance down, you see one of the corpses is doing a push-up to get up off the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, I go back in the living room.
Okay. So Dr. Steele comes backing out. He's got his pistol in his hand. Aaron and Colonel, he's got looking into the room that he's just came out of.
One of those dead bodies just starts getting up.
It wasn't dead.
Or is
No,
it
it was
dead?
dead. It was dead. I examined them thoroughly. There's something else going on.
We didn't see our buddy in there, right?
We don't know what he looks like.
Wait, didn't she describe him to
That's
us?
true.
No, she just said his name was Marty.
We're good at this.
Did any of them look like a Marty?
I didn't have a chance
None
to
of them
check
had
their
a-
identification.
Yeah, none of them had a Marty name tag.
All right.
But I don't-
stand up and
I don't think it even looked the right type and age to be her brother.
I ready my rifle.
That's valid. Sorry. Yeah, that is valid. None of them were. He's only been gone for 3 days, and they were all
Dead for
clearly,
longer.
yeah, longer than that.
But
I ready
where
my rifle and point it towards the doorway where he came from.
Okay.
where's Precious?
Avoiding the smell. She's in the hallway with her nuclear rat.
I've now created a small army of laser cockroaches. And I've been lining them up precisely next to each other.
Priscilla, you may want to be coming in here.
No thank you, the smell is bad.
we are in trouble and may need your help.
You should also leave the smell then.
Not a bad.
Are we seeing anything coming from the room yet? Or
I
just-
assume that's what they mean by being in trouble, that the smell is very bad, and I just don't understand why they would
You're
stay
right.
in it.
Yeah, I hear you. So you definitely hear. Everybody can hear now that there's something moving around the room. Something, the lamp on the nightstand gets turned over or something. There's a big sound of shattering glass, and then Colonel and Doc, as you're looking at the door, the first of the dead people comes out of that room, and they're just kind of shuffling along. They don't have
Do we
any,
see-
any target just yet, but they're.
Do we see the others behind it doing the same thing?
Yeah, you can hear. So you see one come out the door. You can hear something else moving around in the room.
Yeah, I'm taking an action.
When I hear the lamp break, I wind up a little magnetic mouse and send it in to go look at what's happening.
Okay.
I'm gonna toss an inferno bomb into that room.
Okay.
Erin's just starting to look into the doorway, and this bomb goes over her head.
Okay.
Chink.
And just remember, we were talking about before the stream started, but remember we haven't had a rest yet, so we are still same resources available as last time. Okay. Yes. So go ahead and roll initiative.
That's not good.
Uh-oh.
But it's better than mine.
It's not bad, but it's not good.
I got a dirty 20 for my initiative.
Oh, nice.
And I did have 1 genius point left to have that mouse be active. The
Yeah, for
cockroaches,
sure.
I
No, you're
figured
good.
I'm just building. They're not usable. They're
Yeah, I
building
gotcha.
for later.
Okay. No, you're good. You're good. Okay. Doc, what'd you get? Doc Steele.
14.
14. And then Priscilla Precious. Dr. Priscilla Precious got a 20. Aaron.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Aaron, you've got disadvantage on this roll, please.
Space
I mean-
cadet.
Do I even really want to go? I don't think I can. I got an 8.
An 8? Okay. You still go before the dead people. All right. So, like I said, they're just kind of shuffling out of the room. On a 20, a mouse comes under the broken door and skitters into the room. And Milynn, you see through Dr. Precious's mouse, you can see exactly what I've described. There's like what appear to be corpses walking through the living room. Do you still have a move action if you wanted to do anything else?
Oh no, I'm thinking about it, and I really don't think I want to move at this moment in time.
Okay. Okay. Then we'll go to. Let's see, Colonel had a 19, I think, right?
I start walking towards the door.
Don't go in there.
Any of you druggies that aren't too high, you should get up and get out.
Towards the door of the apartment or towards the bedroom door?
Bedroom door.
Okay.
And I took heed to Doc Steele's mention, so I will hold my action and I will blast the first thing that comes through the doorway.
Okay. You can absolutely see one right now, but you do also out of the corner of your eye you see Doc is preparing some sort of alchemical mixture. Okay.
I will hold my action then, wait for him to throw his whatever he's gonna do, because I don't know exactly what he's gonna do, and then I'll fire it at the closest zombie that comes towards me if it does.
Okay. Yeah, easy. So you step up to the door. There's one probably less than a move away from you, and then Doc on 14.
14. I toss the fire explosion in there.
Okay.
Inferno bomb. It's
give me. What's that?
It's a DC save for them.
Okay.
Dex save.
What is my DC? Dex?
It's a Dex 14. Half damage if they make it.
Okay, no, they did not make it. So the Inferno bomb goes by the guy standing in the doorway and into the room. And how much damage?
And it's 25 points of fire damage.
25 points of fire damage. Oh my goodness.
Now we've got flaming undead people.
Okay, yeah, so the conflagration is instantaneous. It just ignites the whole room. There's a bunch of stuff it was apparently really dry, like the bed and the table, and it all catches fire. Fire roars out of the bedroom door and probably out the windows of the apartment as well, the apartment room as well. Okay, so what didn't get hit was the one that was out the doorway. I mean, he took some damage, but he didn't take the full brunt of it. So there is still one right in front of you, Colonel. And then, do you want to take your held action now, or did you want to move, Doc Steele?
Yeah, I was making sure. I mean, it's an 8-foot range on that Inferno bomb, so I'm pretty far back. But yeah, I'm stepping back to get out of the way.
Oh yeah, I'm imagining you're back behind.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm just stepping back towards the door. I'm not going to leave the Colonel in here, but yeah, I'm waiting to see what happens.
Okay.
All right,
interestingly enough, and very similar to your firefight that you had in the living room, the druggies are like the drug users are not
moving,
aware, like they're completely oblivious still. Did you want to do your action now, Colonel, or wait still?
No, I'll go. We got to get these knuckleheads out of here. No, I have the gunfighter minor feat, and it says that as a bonus action, I can treat any non-slow firing property weapon as if it had burst 3. So I think my rifle's not. It's not slow firing, right? This is a full auto. It says.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's not slow firing. So it's moot on that. But I think if you had
Like a single
shot
pistol
weapon or something like that. Yeah.
Which I do. I also have a pistol, but I have the rifle out now, so I'll use that. So do I roll a disadvantage or something, or how does that work? I don't know if I apologize. I don't know how the burst function works for this system.
No, you just so you're gonna roll with disadvantage, and then you'll add. I think. Sure, correct me if I'm wrong. You're gonna add dice to the damage if you hit. I think that's right.
Yeah, it's Gaxx for guns, I believe.
Yep.
Is it already hooked up right? Okay, well that's okay. It's a total of +4 is my proficiency in Dex. So I'll just roll this d20 and add 4 here. And then I'm going to be rolling disadvantage. I'll roll twice. So I'll take lowest 15. I assume the 15 is going to hit those guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, and then damage will be what? It's normally d12 plus my Dex.
Yeah, so for right now, add 2d6.
Wow.
I will look it up here in a minute.
All right, so 2d6.
The one thing I don't have open is my Everyday Heroes book.
The joy of rule of cool in a game. Don't know the rules. Sleep with it.
There's the extra damage. That's the extra damage by itself, and then the main weapon d12 plus Dex 2. So it's a total of 15 points.
15 points? Okay. Yeah, so he you fire a couple shots and it's deafening inside this small apartment. But you hit him right in the chest and it stumbles him back. He stumbles back for a minute. He gets almost back into the bedroom, and then he just starts shuffling forward again. But he does. You did seem to attract his attention.
Got a twitcher.
Yeah.
All right, so that'll bring us down to 8.
Oh, that's me.
That's Aaron.
Oh, I was close. Okay, so it is disadvantage. It adds 1 damage die, so it should have been 2d12.
Oh, 2d12.
So I did 2d6 plus your d12, so it's close. Okay,
It's a little different, but not much.
our little Heldkin.
I am going to use the Wallop spell. So the magic user weaves a burst of kinetic energy directing at a single target within engaged range. The punch adds 3d6 physical damage to the magic user's ether touched attack for point of spell power
Okay.
infused.
You're just gonna do 1 spell power.
Yep.
Okay.
Because I think that's all I can do.
That's right. You're at the 3rd level. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I do.
Very nice.
And then that. So I got a 12. I don't know if I hit. Okay.
Yeah, 12 hits. 12 is what you need to hit. And
Okay.
looks like 8 damage.
And then plus 3d6 because I did the spell.
Oh.
14.
Okay. 14 more. Okay. All right. Yeah. So the sound of the rifle going off in the small apartment kind of temporarily deafens everyone, and then the little Halpkin steps up and her this phantom fist. She throws a punch, and then this phantom fist flies across the room and smacks the dead guy right back into the room, and he disappears in the flames. And the room itself is definitely still burning. Like does not show any signs of going away. All right, and then we'll go back to so I don't have anybody going. That was the only guy I had to go this round. So we'll go back to the top of the order, which is Dr. Precious.
I have now fashioned a little gas mask at my time in the hallway, and I will now come in yelling with my blowtorch raised. And
Okay.
I'm gonna attack the first body I see. Which I know where it is because of where my mouse, my magnetic mouse.
Okay, yeah, so the right now the Aaron and the Colonel just blasted the one that was visible back into the bedroom that's on fire. So you know that the rest of them are back in there at the moment.
Like how on fire is the bedroom? Like a
give me-
little
yes.
fire in the corner, or like the entire thing's an inferno?
Oh, it's I would say between those two. It's not an inferno yet, but it was 25 points of fire damage in the small bedroom, so it was a lot. It was a lot.
I will stand there with my blowtorch and my mask ready.
Okay. All right, give me a perception check real quick, Dr. Precious.
That's a 4.
4? Okay. So we'll go down to...
See nothing.
You see nothing. You see fire.
See fire.
All right. Doc Steele on a... Oh, no, I'm sorry.
No,
Colonel on a 19.
Okay. I'll turn towards the drugged out people, and I'll start like kicking at them. Get up, you dummies! I'll use my entire action to try and rouse as many guys as I can, and if I still have time, I'll physically grab one that maybe he's like semi-conscious.
Okay. Yeah. So you spend. What's that?
I look at Char's character and I say, "See what happens? Drugs are bad."
They're happy. I'm happy. Leave me alone.
They'll be happy bacon bits.
Oh, then they'll be delicious.
That's
Wait.
my turn.
Okay. Yeah. They do not stir at all when you're. I mean, they're conscious, and you nudge them too hard, and if you were to push them like sufficiently hard, they will roll over. Something like that. But they don't pay attention to your warning at all. So are you saying on your move you're gonna try and pick one up?
Yeah. So are we in the second floor?
You are on the second floor. Yes.
Okay. And is there any junk at the bottom of any of the windows that I know of from maybe when we walked in or anything? Because I'm thinking of maybe tossing people out a window into the trash bins or something.
Is there a trash bin that has
something.
sufficient enough garbage in it to let somebody fall without taking damage? No.
Okay. All right. So I'll just physically grab the one that looks like the most comatose.
Okay. Yeah. So that's no problem. And in fact, it happens to be the one that Aaron had touched earlier, touched their hand and got the vision in the first place. So yeah, you grab that. It's a Dayon, a human. You grab them and throw them over your shoulder. They're really light because they clearly haven't eaten in a while. And you head out the door. Is that what I'm hearing?
On my next turn, I'm gonna grab a second one. I assume I can't.
Oh, right on. People. Okay. All right. Now Doc Steele. So you see the Jotun, like he's just throwing bodies over his shoulder. I mean, living people over his shoulder.
Sure. How many of the addicts are in here?
There are 7 in this room. 7 addicts, and then like 4 Iron Rat gang members.
And how many of the ones in the burning room are still moving?
Give me a perception check.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay, you see that there are 4 of them still kind of bouncing into walls, right currently, like walking into walls, trying to figure out, because they can't quite see with all the flames, so they're just stumbling around the room right now, but there's still 4 of them up.
Okay. Then I'm going to. Is the shotgun a single target, or is it an area effect?
It's an area effect. It's a 15-foot cone.
Spread.
Yep.
Then I'm gonna pull out the acid shotgun and shoot the zombies that are wandering around in that room.
Okay. All right. It is a. So it's 10 plus your dex bonus save is the DC saving throw. So what's that save?
It was 10 plus what?
Your dex bonus.
Dex bonus?
Dex and proficiency bonus. So it should be like 12 plus dex.
Yeah, so it's a 13.
13. Okay. Man, roll 20 is not liking me this evening. I got a dirty 1.
Nice.
So what is your damage?
I don't know. What's the damage on the...
Yep, it'll be... Sorry, yeah, I forgot. You just picked this up.
Yep.
It's a 2d6 acid plus dex.
It's not bad. It's 11 points.
11. Okay.
Oh, and also they are on fire, so they all take
another d6
burning damage.
Yeah.
4 more points.
Okay.
That's 15 points more. So that's
in
40
the
points.
conflagration that is rapidly building in the apartment room. Doc Steele walks up with this shotgun that was being held by one of the gang members, and shoots this cone of acid into the room as well, on top of the burning zombies, and for whatever. They start to turn towards you as the attack, like as the aggressor, but they just start melting. Like between the fire and the acid, one of them loses their leg at the knee and he falls over, and the other one falls on the bed, and they all stop moving. Okay, so that was 14 and 8. Aaron Varsog.
Is there anybody still? Are they? All the zombies are gone now?
As far as you know, you see Doc Steele pumping the room with a shotgun.
And I lift the shotgun up and go, got him.
Thanks, Doc. And she looks around. She looks to see if any of the junkies happen to be real small.
You can always drag them by their feet and bounce their heads.
Yeah. Now that you are examining them a little bit closer, you notice that there is one of them that's a Halpkin.
Oh.
And there's another Halpkin in here.
Nice. So she's gonna go over and grab them by the arms, so that the head doesn't bounce all over, and just try and drag them out.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So. And then that's going to be your action. Not going to do anything else? I mean, I guess that would be. Between grabbing him and moving.
That's a grapple and then a move.
Yep. Okay, Colonel, you see your Halpkin friend, Aaron, dragging another Halpkin male out the door, past you out the door. And it's your turn.
Sorry, it's my turn?
Colonel.
Colonel.
Oh, that's why I was like, I don't think so.
Sorry, I missed that entirely. Okay, so I'm going to pick up the next most unconscious guy and start heading out the door.
Okay. All right, so you pick up 2, you've got him out the door, that's perfectly fine. You do notice that the 2 goons Doc Steele originally knocked out in the kitchen are starting to come to with the smell of smoke and all the noise. They're not awake yet, but you can tell that they're starting to roll over and wake up a little bit. Okay, and then I don't have anybody. All my corpses are gone or down.
Sorry.
So what's that?
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Okay, so back to the top. Dr. Precious.
Are we concerned at this point at all of the entire apartment to start catching on fire outside of the bedroom?
You are 100% certain that this fire is not going out on its own. Yes.
I will just kind of rifle through the guy that had the shotgun to see if there's any information on him before we I have
sure.
my blowtorch in hand, but also I'm eyeing that fire pretty dangerously.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Ugh. I maybe turn my blowtorch off and just quietly put it back in its holster.
Too soon. Okay. Yeah, no problem. So give me a perception check or investigation.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Perception. It'd be perception.
Okay. So 19.
Oh, okay. Great. You see you come across a couple of scraps of paper, and one of them seems to have a list of names on them. You do not see the brother's name on there, which was... now I'm going to test my... Marty. I was going to say Kenny, but yeah, Marty is not on the list of names, but it's a list of maybe a dozen names, and the bottom couple are scratched off. They're scratched through.
The one corpse that came out of the room, right? It came out of the room and we killed it?
Yep.
I'm blasted back into the room.
Oh, you blasted it back into the room.
Yeah.
Is it...
So it took a rifle and then a magic fist to the chest.
How far from the door is it?
It's right there, so you can see its feet still burning.
I'm gonna try and pull it out to see if I can look for an ID on it.
Sure. Okay.
See if those names match up with the names on the list. If it's the people here, or kind of trying to figure out what these names are.
I gotcha. Okay. You take... lose 3 edge doing that, but you manage to pull the body out of the fire and tap it out. It's it appears to be what remains of its clothing appear to be some sort of blue collar worker, not most likely a factory like somebody down here on this level of Renmark, not somebody in the at the upper levels. Doesn't appear to be wearing affluent clothing or anything like that. Okay, so we'll go. You got him. You're searching, kind of rifling through the bodies. What's up?
Do fire extinguisher type things exist?
They do.
Are they just water mazes?
Yeah, there'd be so there's certainly the fire brigade, and then probably have some sort of Ionian contraption, some sort of aether-tech device that is used for putting out fires, but if it existed in this apartment complex, it's long been stolen or disappeared.
I pull out a bucket. I said, let's get in a line.
Okay.
We'll do a bucket brigade. That was a joke.
That's
a bucket brigade joke. Never mind.
So that was 20, and then Doc Steele. I'm sorry. I keep forgetting the Colonel on 19.
All right. So I'm going to run out as quickly as I can and dump the 2 guys outside the door and then run back up.
Okay. You notice that there are several people. In fact, give me a perception check real quick. But there are several people that are starting to point at the burning corner of the apartment building.
I say, nothing to see here. And,
hey, how are you? How you doing?
16?
Yes. You notice that, if you recall, there were 2 young lads who were guarding the doorstep, the stairwell up to this apartment, and you notice that they are both among the crowd that are standing there looking at the burning building. There's maybe half a dozen, 8 people or so standing around, all pointing, and 2 of them are the ones that you had paid off to get into the building in the first place. Okay.
Unless your fingers, I yell, unless your fingers shoot water, go get some help.
Okay, Doc Steele.
So I'm gonna use my feet useful elixir.
Useful elixir, got it. Okay.
And I'm going to throw a fire suppressant into the room to put the fire out.
Okay.
Carbon dioxide.
Okay.
Supposed
Yeah.
to smother it.
Right. Yeah, that it definitely helps. So you create you throw it in the room, and you create an area in there. You can see like this circle of extinguished flame now in the room, but there's certainly still some stuff in there burning. But you did quite a bit of good. It worked quite well. And
I'm gonna look for the bag of lime they've been using in order to spread that around also to put out the fire.
Okay. So we'll call that a move action. Give me a, I guess, investigation check on that.
Investigation gives me a 19.
Okay. Yeah. So you go to the toilet, or what passes for the toilet in this place, and under the sink or whatever, there's a half-used bag of lime in there.
Yeah. So I take that, and I'm planning on going back in there, and I'm gonna spread it around, and it should also cancel any acid that's left since it's based.
Right. Okay. All right. So that was 14 down to Aaron.
So I have a cantrip called Gaxx, and what it does is it like sucks the air out of somebody's lungs for like a second. Can I just aim that at any like smaller like parts of the flames and sort of just like suck the oxygen out and sort of start if I can't like reduce the amount of flame, at least stop it from spreading so much.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a
spot extinguish.
Clever use of the spell, sure, of the cantrip. Is there a?
Well, the fire can't make a Constitution saving throw.
Right. Okay. So it's a saving throw base, not a to hit.
Yeah.
Let's see. Pardon me.
I mean, the fire could make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. So yeah, you use that, and you look back in the back of the room and see the biggest thing that's still burning is, well, there's a couple things that are really still burning, like part of the bed and against the walls, and the curtains have all gone up in flames, and you're like, oh, the nightstand's on fire. So you use your spell on that to try and extinguish some of the flame, and you could tell that it probably would have worked, but for whatever reason it didn't go out. Like it like a big gust of wind came over it, and it went out for a second and then immediately reignited, probably because it was so hot.
I picked the wrong spot.
20.
Got natural 20 on its save.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
So
you've got speaking of, so I guess you dragged the other Halpkin out into the hallway and then came back in, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you did? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that would probably have been your move and your action then.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was 8. All right. On 4, the you start hearing bells, like not an automated thing, but somebody like literally ringing a large bell somewhere outside the building.
Is that the fire brigade?
That is
a fire alarm?
a alarm, yeah. Yep. Somebody's raising the alarm. Somebody sees the smoke and they're calling the fire brigade. Okay, and that'll be back to the top. So Dr. Precious, you've got this one of the bodies out there, out of the room.
And I just want to see if I can find an ID on it, and see if that ID matches one of the names on the list.
Okay, so give me another perception check, and this is really not whether or not you see it, but more, is there anything there?
18.
18?
Nice.
Okay. You are looking around. There's no identification on the body at all. So if they had a wallet, you imagine the Iron Rats probably stole it.
Okay.
Something to that effect. But stitched in the collar of his shirt, what that has not burned yet, you see the name Charles, and that does match one of the scratched out names on the. There's no last name, but there is a Charles that is scratched out on the list. Very good.
Look at everyone and I tell them, I'm like, well, this dead person's name in their shirt matches one of the names crossed off on the list, so I'm gonna assume that the names crossed off on the list are all the people that died. I don't know who the other people are, though. My atomic squirrel is getting out of hand.
Okay.
Good.
About squirrel.
Yeah, that was
Very
good. That's
difficult.
good.
I will then pick up my mouse by the tail and leave the room very nonchalantly and be like, there's a fire in there, and it looks pretty bad to the crowd of onlookers.
Someone should really put that out.
You
Someone
have
should
so much
definitely
experience walking
that.
away from fires, being innocent.
As she puts her blowtorch back in her
I've
satchel.
already hold my blowtorch.
I know. Yeah, I gotcha.
But I will, like when something's behind your back and you try to make an effort to not turn that part of your body. So as I go around the crowd, I just keep facing them. Nothing to see here. Swinging my mouse by its tail.
Okay, yeah, so you make your way out to the front of the building. You do hear down the street, there's there aren't fire alarms in the individual buildings at least in this part of the city, but there is almost like a phone booth where somebody's in there ringing this huge, large bell. And then the crowd has grown from when I described it for the Colonel. The crowd's probably closer to 20 people now, standing outside.
I'll join the crowd now. I'm an onlooker too. Wow, this is weird. What? A fire? Who would have thought that could happen?
Have you guys seen this? Wow, when was the last time?
Yeah, that's exactly. I'll be wow, this is really nice. What do you think happened?
That was on 20. So Colonel, we're back down to you. You do see Dr. Precious come out the door, twirling a mouse.
I run back up. How much longer until this fire consumes the room?
Well, it got delayed. It was delayed a little bit because Dr. Steele was able to suppress some of it.
Do I think I can make 2 trips or just this last one?
At the current, you believe before it engulfs the entire apartment, you mean?
Well, I'm mostly trying to save all the drug heads that are in the living room.
Yeah. You're confident you can make 1. You can probably make 2. Depends on if the fire keeps getting fought.
Okay. I will go ahead and scoop up 1, and then I'm going to use an exploit to get an extra turn, which will knock me to exactly 0 hit points or 0 edge points. But I do have Walking Dead, so I can still move. I just have exhaustion.
That's great.
So
I was okay, you're gonna. Yeah. I forgot you have Walking Dead.
Yeah. So I would probably imagine it in that I scoop them up and I see one with the fire kind of coming towards them, and I reach down anyway, and fire goes up my arm, and I'm kind of burned, and I'm kind of staggering down the stairs with both guys.
Got it. No, that's great. Okay, so kind of an explanation of what's going on for those of you that aren't familiar with Strange and Grim. We use hit points as not only a way to avoid dying, but as also a resource for doing what we call exploits. And so exploits are, you can spend edge, we call it edge instead of hit points. You can spend edge on doing these extra cool things, or you can use them to absorb damage or keep from getting wounded in combat. And so what Erik has just done is he's taken 10 points of edge damage to give yourself an extra action, right? You're doing the extra action one. Exactly. An extra turn. You're basically giving yourself an extra turn, which knocks him to 0 hit points, 0 edge, but he has a feat called Walking Dead, which allows him to continue to take actions while at 0 hit points. That's good. That's another feather in your cap, just similar to last week when you had, all right, we're gonna get a chase started, and the Colonel's like, nah, I'm just gonna knock her out before she can even start running.
People watching this show, the exploits are amazing. They're super fun, give you a lot of tools, and you can't just do them willy-nilly. You do have to sacrifice, so it's cool.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so you grab 2 more, you throw them up on your shoulders, and you're coughing and hacking. It's the room, while not in flames, the apartment, while not in flames, is still filled with smoke. It's starting to affect everybody.
I'm coughing from the ejected smoke, but then I still take a chance to puff my cigar.
Sure, of course. Of course you do. Okay, so you get back out on your extra turn, and then we're down to Doc Steele.
Using the lime to get the fire under control. Does it look like we're gonna have enough to actually contain it, and it just needs to get put out after that?
You know that the fire brigade is probably on their way, and that if you're able to spread this lime out and at least slow it down a little bit, that the fire brigade will probably be able to take care of the rest of it. You're not certain that you will be able to get it out on your own.
Right.
I mean, it's...
No, I just want to
taking
contain it in the room.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to try to do that.
Okay. Yeah, so you start spreading the bag around, and the places where you get it in significant quantities, it is able to suppress the flames and start putting stuff out. So, yeah. Okay.
And
so
then...
you continue to slow it down, or keep it from spreading.
And does that take up all the line?
Yeah.
Yes, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
And how many people are still left in the apartment?
There are 2 druggies, and then
the 2 guys
right
waking
now
up.
there are several of the other ones waking up. The only one that's completely incapacitated is your patient, which has lost his foot, and he's still out cold. The other 3 are in various states of waking up and probably running. You're assuming they're going to run, but there's 2 drug addicts still unconscious and enjoying life.
Okay. Then I'll use Tin Edge to get another action, and I'll go over and start getting the guy who needs medical attention up, and start walking him or stumbling him out.
Okay. The one. So you're talking about your foot?
Yeah, that guy.
Your foot guy? Okay.
The others are coming too, and then the 2 druggies I'm expecting Colonel to get back.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, you're able to. Well, give me either athletics or just straight strength check.
I got a 19.
19. Okay. Yeah. So that's sufficient to get him up and get him roused enough. He's clearly on the verge of unconsciousness, but you get him at least aware enough that you're able to stumble out the door with him as the smoke's starting to take over the living room.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's 14, I think, and then...
Oh, I will throw a comment to the 2 that are waking up, or the 3 that are waking up, just in case. It's like, you grab them and get them on there too. And I point to the druggies.
Okay. Yeah, so as you're walking by the kitchen, and there's 2 of them, the 2 that were there in the kitchen are starting to sit up and like look around and coughing a little bit, clearly confused as to why things were fine just a split second ago. Now the whole apartment's on fire. Okay, so that was 14-ish. Now down to Aaron.
So Aaron is going to cast Coordinate on the people still in the room.
Oh.
And so basically they get a +2 bonus to, and my instruction is to escape and get out of this building.
Okay.
And then she just runs.
Right. Okay. All right. How many people can you affect with that one?
5. So I will affect the ones that seem capable of carrying the other ones out that he just told them to, and then anybody else she can.
Very good. Okay. Yeah. So you basically, well, I wouldn't call it command, but you instruct the ones that are waking up, the gang members that are waking up, to help the unconscious druggies out the door, and then you leave. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that takes care of the remaining 5 people in the apartment. About that time, when you and Doc Steele make it to the street, there are at least the forward scouts of the fire brigade starting to show up. So there's a couple of people starting to push people back from the, probably volunteers in the local block that are the first to respond. They're starting to push the crowd back and trying to assess the fire, and you can see that it's starting to build up a little bit more, despite your best efforts, Doc, to get it put out entirely.
I do go up to one of them and I go, it's this apartment up there. It seems like there was a drug lab or something in there that caused an explosion. We should probably go up there and put that out before it spreads.
Yeah, okay. You don't need to roll on that. That's pretty convincing. I mean, obviously, because it's on fire.
It's not only is it on fire, but there's a bunch of junkies coming out of it.
Yep. And some junkies.
Yeah. So he's like, oh, okay, yeah. Thanks for the information. The rest of the brigade should be here pretty soon. Okay, so before we take a break, which is That's almost perfect timing. What are you guys going to stick around and watch, or are you going to try and leave, or what are we doing?
After I hand this wounded guy off to whatever emergency services are showing up, yeah, I'd say leave.
I want to approach one of the drug people that came out of the building and just be like, hey, is your name on this list by any chance? And just show them the list. Because I figure they're probably going to be like, I was just going to like show up with like, really non-threateningly with like my squirrel and like just swinging a mouse. Being like, so weird, is your name on this list? Just, to get you medical attention. We want to make sure we get you the proper medical attention.
Okay. Yeah, give me a persuasion check.
18.
18. Okay, so they're none of them are in any better state than they were in the apartment. But on an 18 persuasion, you are able to coax one of them to at least focus bleary-eyed on the piece of paper for long enough to recognize their own name, and they're like, "Yeah, that's me. I'm Curtis. I'm Curtis. Curtis."
Oh, okay.
And it's one
Curtis.
of the non-crossed out names.
Great. Thank you so much. We will be assisting you shortly.
Someone will be along shortly to assist.
Yeah, someone will be along shortly to assist with your needs.
As we
Thank
start
you
to move,
for choosing our services today. And then I will just quickly turn on my heel and walk back into the crowd.
As we do start to move away, I'm gonna check on Colonel to make sure he doesn't fall over.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I made one and missed 2 death saves, so I have 1 more left. And so at that point, I stumble over to Doc Steele. Hey Doc, I could use a child jogger.
Yeah.
A little breather, and I fall over.
What's the duration on Walking Dead? How long can you do it? Or you just as long as you're making the death saves?
Yeah. So until I'm dead, I have 2 levels of exhaustion basically. Is the penalty, but I'm 1 away, which is why I'm approaching him, because I don't want to make another roll and actually just be dead.
Fail. Yeah, that's what I was gonna. That's what I was like. I see Colonel's having some issues, so I'm gonna stabilize him so that he doesn't die.
Episode 2, the death of the Colonel. Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's pretty easy.
I got a dirty 20 on the medicine check. So.
A 32?
nice.
Is that all?
No, a dirty 20. I can't get a 32.
Okay, yeah. So it takes you a minute or 2, but you're off away from the crowd, maybe around in an alleyway or something like that, and you work to stabilize the Colonel, and no sweat on a dirty 20, easy. So it takes you a minute, but you got him.
Cool.
Work on the smoke inhalation.
Thanks,
and with
Doc.
that, we will take a quick break. It'll be about 10 minutes, and then we will come back and finish the rest of episode 2.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right. Be back in 10.
It's love I'm after. I don't want to be a millionaire. The only thing on earth for which I care is love. love and laughter. I'd give everything that I possess. The perfect sentiment for happiness is love. Rich men, poor men, beggar men, thieves feel the way I do, because each one of them believes he'll find somebody like you. It's love I'm after. It may make me rise or make me fall, but it's love I'm after all.
On the floor of a crowded bar room Isidore took a nasty piece of chalk and he drew the face of a gorgeous hussy. And then he filled the place as he began to talk. Oh, it happened in Chicago in 33. It happened in Chicago and woe is me. At the exposition there, I was eyeing up the fair when along came Mame, a classy dame with golden teeth and platinum hair. And then I wines and dines her until I run out of cash. And then along comes handsome Joe with a black mustache. Crash, zoom, zoom, boom, boom. My romance gets a kick in the pants, and it happened in Chicago in 33.
praying for back in 1933. That's the one I'd go again for. And if he came back to me, everybody.
We're back. All right. Thanks for sticking around, everyone. And once again, we are here today on episode 2 of the Strange and Grim RPG, which is being produced by Gaxx. Luke Guy Gaxx's Gaxx, and built on the Everyday Heroes RPG created by Evil Genius Games. Quick shout out to our sponsors. See if I can recall all of them again. We've got Troubled News Studios, Trollord Games, Fat Dragon. We've got Penny Dragon. We've got Hero Forge. We've got Frog God Games and Fantasy Grounds, all supporting this channel. You'll see them scroll along there on the ticker on your screen. But if you can, when you see the links pop up in chat, please head out and give them a visit on their website. It really helps us out and helps them out and lets them know that we're getting spreading the word about their business. This is GaryCon, youtube.com/GaryCon, and in support of Gary Gygax and everything that he did to bring D&D and the world of role-playing games to life, to the world, to all of us. GaryCon itself will be in March of next year for GaryCon 16, but will also be the 50th anniversary of the creation of Dungeons and Dragons. So if you're able to go to GaryCon and get out and celebrate with us, it will be one of the best ones we've had one of the best events we've had yet. All right, so quick catch up. The freelancers have been in a drug den. They were able to track down the location, or a possible location, of where the Iron Rats were dealing illicit drugs in their pursuit of Marty, who's a brother of one of their acquaintances at Red Rita's Lounge, a waitress there who's asked for their help. In the process of trying to track him down, they've gone all across the lower levels of Renmark, the city of Renmark. And we're just recently investigating, like I said, this drug den where not only were there several druggies and some Iron Rat gang members, but also came across some disturbingly reanimated corpses who they just burnt to a crisp and nearly burnt down an apartment complex.
Well, I consider that more of remodeling, you know.
Right.
Urban
needed the help.
Urban infrastructure remodeling, you know.
Did
Right.
we burn down the apartment complex, or did the zombies burn down the apartment complex?
The druggies burned down.
That's true. It was clearly some sort of alchemical drug.
Meth labs explode.
Meth lab explosion. That's right. Yep.
But when it exploded, there were rainbows.
Okay, so
you're the only one that saw the rainbows, Aaron.
That's right. That's right. You guys are currently, so you did decide that you're not going to stick around to wait for the fire brigade to show up. Dr. Steele was able to suppress the fire enough that it didn't engulf the entire complex, but it's going to take a little bit of water and more attention than you guys were capable of providing at the time. So the fire brigade's on their way. There's about 20 people standing outside the apartment. You guys are maybe in an alleyway or off to the side trying to revive or make sure that your good colonel doesn't die. as his heroic efforts to save the people in the apartment led to him reaching zero edge or zero hit points, as it were.
As I'm falling unconscious with my cigar still in my mouth, no morons left behind.
Okay, so it is, however, probably about time to go off the clock, which is the strange and grim way of saying taking a long rest, just so that you can replenish all your resources. So where do you guys want to go about doing that?
Do we have a place?
It's nice and warm.
Well, I
here.
mean, each of you, yeah. So right, each of you are well off enough to have your own places to go. So if you wanted to each go back to your own house or apartment or wherever you're living at in the city, you could certainly do that.
I was just wondering, because it's gonna take time. We can't just get a hotel.
Yep, sure. Anybody have anything they want to do specifically, or just gonna kind of wait for 8 hours and come back?
Basically, sort of start wandering in the direction of the tendrils until she gets tired, and then she's gonna just like find a little corner.
Okay. Yes. Very good point. So, both Docs and Colonel, you now are fully well. You're very well aware now that your Helpkin companion is suffering or enjoying the effects of Highlife. She took 3 small doses over the course of about 2 hours, and the last one really hit her pretty hard. So she's seeing colors as she's walking, kind of stumbling around. Like I said before, she's not stumbling around, but she's definitely shuffling her feet and paying less attention than you have observed in the past.
Well, we do have a little time before we do the off the clock, right?
Sure. Yeah, you don't have to take it at all. You've stabilized the Colonel, so nobody's in danger of keeling over.
Well, I was gonna take a short to get a genius point back.
Oh, okay.
And use that to use my antidote.
Got it.
Plan and just
Okay. All right. So
fix our Hopkins.
Yep, I got you. So she, unless you're going to stop her, is going to. She sounds like she's going to wander off. So if she's in the process of going down the street, saying something about tendrils and rainbows and something like that.
Before you go anywhere, come here for a second. Aaron, let me take a look at you.
But you don't have rainbows.
I don't, but let me take a look at you. And I'll
that's great.
I'll minister to her.
Okay, in the background, the fire brigade does end up showing up. There's a bunch of ladders and stuff. They're throwing water in the window, and people are charging in with fire axes and all kinds of stuff. Colonel and Doc Precious, what are you doing? So you do see Doc Steele trying to convince Aaron not to wander off down the street, and all the fire stuff's going on in the background.
I will go with him and try to convince her that she shouldn't wander off.
But this is where it all leads.
No.
You see none of this, by the way. She's telling you that she sees stuff, and you don't see anything.
And I'm like, I'm sure you do. But the thing is, it's not a time to go do that. So whatever is happening here, we're just gonna tuck that inside, and now we're gonna go home and take a little nap.
That sounds nice.
Right? Not good. We're like, yeah.
All right, Colonel, anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna go get myself a burger and take a nap.
Okay.
I kind of stagger down the alleys and head home.
Okay, so most of you, actually, I think all of you probably don't live on the factory level. You're probably up in the immediate next level of the city. So for those of you that didn't watch last week, Renmark is the capital of what's called the Commonwealth, and it's a huge city, but it's basically in an extinct volcano or caldera, and so they couldn't expand out. They expanded up. There's 5 major levels of the city. The bottom one was at one point home to much of the manufacturing and production and shipping and trading of the city, but it's fallen into disrepair and rather disreputable sorts of people hanging around here, like drug dealing gang members and stuff like that. So most of you probably don't live on this level. Doesn't take any time at all to move up to the next level, but yeah, so if you're going to go up there and rest in your houses, it'll be up some.
Mm-hmm.
So Colonel's going to go get a burger and sleep it off. Are you going to take Erin back to her house or her flat, or what are you doing with her?
Well, like I said, I'm going to use the antidote to neutralize the effect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then... for sure. That's fine. You're going to have to find a spot to do your breather, do the short rest.
Yeah.
So if you want to do that in a booth at a bar or something,
cafe or something.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So you find a cafe nearby and
a cafe or bar, whatever Erin doesn't wander off from.
More. Yeah. Give me more. More beer, more alcohol. Okay.
One intoxication counters the other, right?
That's right. Yeah. Upper and a downer.
You seem to have this under control, and I just leave my mouse on the table or the bar, wherever they're at. So one-handed salute, and then go take a nap at my house.
Okay. All right. So you all generally agree to meet back in the morning, probably at Red Rita's or something to that effect, and go your separate ways. Doc Steele, you tend to Erin, and you're sitting around in the cafe or whatever for a little bit until boom, Genius Point recovers. Like, oh, I do remember how to make this antidote, and so you shake up the vial or whatever to that concoction and mix it with her coffee or something to that effect to get her.
There you go. Drink this. You'll feel better.
I feel good already.
Yeah, but you'll feel better.
Okay, so it won't necessarily have any game impact, because I'm assuming you're probably going to at some point take a full long rest. But once you come off Highlife, you do suffer 2 levels of exhaustion from coming down off of it. So as soon as you're like, oh wow, that's weird, everything disappeared. The overlay of the extra image that you had, as soon as you take this antidote, completely disappears, and you're like, oh. Oh, that's weird. Oh, I feel terrible. It's like this really bad hangover.
You lied. You said this would feel better.
Well, you're not going to feel better right now, but you'll feel better in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I know that you were seeing things, and you see things that are always kind of strange. We'll talk about it once you've had a chance to relax, but I'm assuming you said there was something that you were following. I don't think you should take any more of that Highlife in order to see that.
Then how am I going to see it?
Well, you saw which direction it was, right?
Well, sort of.
I'm sure that there will be some other individuals we'll meet who are under the influence. We could probably see if they could point out the directions. But if worse comes to worse, I'll let you make your own decision whether you want to take me more Highlife. That's completely up to you. But I discourage it, since it doesn't seem to have any good effects. It's more deleterious.
You should try it and then decide if it has any good effect.
Oh, no, I'll be doing some tests once I get back to my lab to see what this is actually made of.
All right, I'm going home.
Yeah.
Okay, so you all vamoose, go your separate ways for the evening.
Yeah. Go relax in the lab. And I do have some Highlife. I'm going to see if I can get a rough idea of what to do with it, if anything.
Sure. Okay. All right. Anything special for anybody else during the evening? Okay. So Doc Steele, you're looking. You take it back to your lab. You put it in the separator.
Centrifuge.
Centrifuge. There you go.
Centrifuge,
And you're spinning it.
Do some
and trying to separate it into its component parts.
get some chromatography going.
There you go.
I got a 25 on the roll for the science check.
Science check. Yeah. So you are not able to determine necessarily what it's made of, but when you are able to separate the components apart and at least get it into broad categories, you do know that it is oh my gosh, what's it called? It's twofold. You do discover that it not only is it a magical type concoction, which you already suspected, but it's also what's called twofold, TWO fold, and so that means that it is existent. It exists. It's one of those rare things that exists both on the prime material plane and in the void.
In the void.
Yeah, there are certain objects or certain creatures and stuff that can exist in both places at the same time, and this is for whatever reason, this chemical compound exists in the void simultaneously with the prime.
So, making a reference to an old game system, would this be similar to seeing into the ethereal plane? You can see like the ghostly other world overlaid on the real world.
Yeah, similar. Yes, similar. I mean, other than it's the demi plane that she's seeing, and
right.
not the ethereal plane. But yes, yep, absolutely.
Okay. Then I will rest because I need a rest.
Okay. All right. You guys agreed ahead of time to kind of come back for meet at Red Rita's for breakfast. Everybody's back in good shape, well rested, and ready for some eggs and bacon. Char, Aaron has
steak and eggs for breakfast.
Steak and eggs for breakfast. There you go. Char, Aaron does have still kind of has a headache. You're certainly feeling the effects still. Yeah. But it's not like your exhaustion and everything's gone. It's just you definitely note that you don't feel quite 100%.
Yeah.
Feeling better? You feeling better, Colonel?
Yeah, good as new. It's the strangest thing. When I was on mission, I got blasted almost point blank with a shotgun. Next morning, after 8 hours of sleep, I was perfectly fine.
Sure, it was just bruising.
Yeah, it's weird how that works.
5th edition, gotta love it.
So we do. And that actually brings up a good point. We haven't got to that. We haven't got there yet with anybody. Nobody's been in danger, but Colonel was in, I guess, sort of danger back there. But there are in Everyday Heroes permanent or mostly permanent wounds if you do reach 0 hit points. So there is potential for like permanent suffering once you reach 0 hit points. Which would be, you just weren't at 0. You weren't at 0 edge, Colonel, when you took that shotgun blast. You must have had a bulletproof vest on or something.
Yeah, like a hit point.
Just bruising.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So what's the plan for today? You're at Red Rita's eating some breakfast, steak and eggs, and what's the next step?
What did we learn except for that zombies are flammable?
Well, we learned that they're being trucked by the iron rats, so they would know where they're getting this material. We just need to get that information from one of them.
We have a couple samples of Highlife, right?
We do. We still have a few.
Can I see one of those samples, please?
If you're careful with it, yes.
Of course. Hold on. My gloves.
But my thinking was we could also see if this tendrils that Aaron was seeing, we might head that direction.
And while we're having breakfast, I will open the sample after I've put on my gloves, and I will take out a dropper and take a couple drops and give it to my Skitterbot squirrel, because it's technically a bunch of little nanobots to analyze the droplets and see if in any way I can incorporate it into one of my bots.
Oh.
Run up and zap people and make them all stoned.
Zap them into the void.
That's right, yeah.
Or, I mean, Cthulhu-powered bots, so...
Yeah, no, if you could have one of your bots actually experience it, and we could have that lead us to where the tendrils are.
I mean, I can have the nanobots analyze it, and I guess they will tell me what.
Here's
is
some of the
possible with it.
some of the analysis that I came up with last night. Should pull out the scribbles and notes that I made. See, it's a two-step. It exists both in this current dimension and in the void. So perhaps perception could be used to power some sort of optics that could see through.
Possibly.
But
Okay,
do be
yeah.
careful. Do be careful taking this, Aaron. This is very addictive. It binds very strongly with the neurotransmitters.
I look at the nanobots and I whisper, "Don't get addicted to it."
You whisper to the nanobots, "Don't get addicted to it."
Yes, like
Okay.
talking to a child. I'm like, "Don't get addicted to it."
Okay, give me an Aether Tech check.
Okay.
Or Etherics.
Can
Ooh.
I help, since I've got Aether Tech as well, and I
Yeah.
was giving her information so she gets advantage?
Yes.
I mean,
And for the-
honestly, my first roll was real high.
That's good.
For the crowd, Aether Tech is essentially magical engineering. So it's the use of magic and engineering skills combined.
So where would so my Aether Tech is a +4, so I have advantage. I mean, I've rolled a 19 and then an 18, so
Oh, very nice.
Damn good.
23.
20,
Okay.
23.
All right. Yeah, James Daniels said proceeds to juggle the samples. Yeah, I'll avoid that. Okay.
I will retrieve what's left of the sample.
Got it. Okay, yeah. So your okay, yeah, so your skitterbot, the nanobots take it and they start messing around with it. Nothing immediately happens. But they're you can tell that it's working, or they're working on like a solution or at least their examination. Okay, anything else from anybody else other than headaches from Aaron? Colonel, you gonna do anything? Forgot anything?
Yeah.
I
So
would-
you had a list and it had some names on it, but our boy Marty wasn't there, huh?
No, it didn't seem to be on the list. Correct, Dr. Precious?
He was not on the list. And as the server goes by, I say, "Excuse me," and I order 1 milkshake, a side of bacon, and 3 French fries for my breakfast.
Just 3 fries or 3 orders?
The guy, yeah,
3 French
so
fries only.
So the waiter, he's like, "You want three fries? Do you want a
Yeah.
basket? We serve them
3
in baskets usually."
No, I will
have the rest.
I will pay for the basket, but please 3 French fries, preferably the same size, and if not the same size, in descending order of size on a plate.
Okay, he's writing stuff down as as he's looking up at you over the notepad as your list gets longer and longer, and he's like, "Oh, okay, got it. Okay," and he wanders off back to the kitchen.
Yeah. Hey, waiter, you have one of those heart healthy breakfasts?
Heart healthy breakfast.
Yeah, like tomato and
Would
healthy
you
stuff.
like a slice of tomato, or do you want the whole tomato?
You want the healthy breakfast? You mean you want steak without gravy on it?
Well, just how about a bowl of fruit and a whiskey?
Got it.
Colonel, are you feeling all right?
Read a special coming up. Okay.
It's just Tuesday for me.
Bowl of fruit
All right.
and a whiskey. Would you like it on or you want the shot?
Shot, please.
Okay, got it. All right. Anything for you, ma'am, Aaron? You said you want the rest of the basket?
Yeah, I'll have the rest of the basket and the greasiest bacon you've got. All of it.
Heart attack on a plate coming up. Okay.
Is that one
And
of,
it's
is
a-
that one of those? I don't think you understood what I just said. You heard,
Yeah.
I want a big plate of bacon. What I said was all the
I
bacon
want
you got.
all the bacon.
Got it. Okay, understood. We'll make some more. Okay, yeah. So he double checks his notepad. 3 fries, 3 French fries, all the same size, milkshake, and I forgot the other thing because I didn't write it down.
Side of bacon.
Oh, bacon. Yes, side of bacon. Got it.
And the fruit and the
fruit, whiskey. You've already got your steak. You've already got your steak and eggs.
It was amazing. Thank you.
And then all the rest of the bacon that we have.
Yeah.
Cooked. Got it. Okay.
He does walk off.
Okay, yes. So the list.
I turned to Aaron and I was like,
I like that he checked for cooked.
Did you want it cooked? Because I don't remember you saying that.
Yeah, that's good. It's not as greasy and if it's not as cooked.
Yeah.
Very good point. Okay, yeah, so let's see. Why don't we all roll? So we're gonna pass the list around, I assume, and take a look at it.
See if we recognize
as I mentioned
people.
before. What's that?
Yeah, let's see if I recognize where any of these people might have been.
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, it looks like maybe the bottom of the list is the piece of paper may have even been torn off. You see that just the very edge of maybe another name at the bottom of the paper that suggests it's been torn off. But there's 4 names that have been scratched through, and then there's another 7 above that. Charles being one of them that you talked to on the street last night. And then give me a... Let's see. How about we do a investigation check? Everybody can roll investigation if you've got it. Well, I mean, you can roll intelligence if you don't.
My investigation check is a 21. Sorry, 22.
I got a 5.
That hangover hit you hard.
I got a 19.
Okay.
Reading? Oh.
And looks like Colonel got an 11. Okay. So there's Doc Precious and Doc Steele. You take a look at it again, and less of the, and less hectic situation than the apartment all around you being on fire. And you take a look at it, then you realize that in addition to the names, there's also some sort of code at the top. Like you didn't read it before because it was in like glyphs, but it's clearly some sort of writing. It's not just scribbles like you may have, when you initially looked at it, you may have thought that it was just scribbles or scratches or something like that. But you can tell that it's clearly like written across the top, just in a language or script that you don't recognize.
And so we notice it, but we can't read it.
No, you don't recognize what it is. But my point with the roll was that you didn't recognize it more than scribbles before that. But then once you're like looking at it a little bit closer, you realize that it is something written down there.
Priscilla, do you see that up on the top? Is that what I think it is?
And I peer down at it, and I look at him. And I say, "What do you think it is?"
That looks like some kind of glyphs, correct?
I consult my Skitterbot squirrel, and I'm like, "What do you think this look like glyphs to you?" And I wait for the nanobots.
Okay, well, the nanobots are currently processing whether or not they can get high on Highlife.
I don't think they all need to process at once. I look at them, and I'm just like, all of you, really?
Party.
Aaron, does that look like glyphs to you?
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Aren't you conversant in these sort of things?
I'm not talking to him right now.
Well, the question is, who
Colonel?
can read these for us?
Yeah, Colonel. Can you read these things?
I don't think I
You
can.
definitely cannot.
Yeah, I was hoping that Aaron would be able to. Maybe you know someone who could.
Someone does.
I'm trying to remember where you get your
The languages?
languages from.
Is it a language, or since it's glyphs, it's an occult thing?
Yeah,
The
is it a
latter.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I got a ladder.
It's a glyph made of ladders. No, a ladder made of glyphs.
I look at the nanobots that are still analyzing, and I start building another Skitterbot squirrel, and I was like, they pointed in all of you.
I'm spending a luck point to reroll that 6. And I got a 13.
Is that
your-
with your bonus already? Or is that a flat roll?
It's a flat roll.
So what's the
It's
total?
adding my intelligence bonus because
Does it add your proficiency too?
15.
15? Okay. You don't know. You're not 100% sure, but you are fairly certain you know where to find that information. Like you can't read it, but there, in your studies over the past, decade or so that you've been researching the occult and the eerie unknown, you have met several people in your life that, or know of several locations in the city where you can go to find maybe a translation or more information about this, but you yourself do not know what it says directly.
No. Go ask what's her name, and she's just 5 blocks.
Maybe you should take us there once we get done eating.
Oh. All
That
right.
sounds like a great idea. Yes, so you recall the name Rosalind Turner. And she is like a bookstore owner, like of the specializing in the occult and the mysteries of the void and that sort of thing. Very stereotypical. Go ahead.
Are you telling me that she runs a store called Roz's Occult? Like Raise the Cult from Ghostbusters?
Not intentionally, but I will remember that for the future. Yes, Rosalind Turner, but she's on the 3rd level of Renmark, so up several hundred feet above you, several hundred meters above you. And she might now have more information on what the scribbles really mean.
Then that's definitely someone we should go.
Okay.
Do it. Let's try the same thing on fire this time.
What's that?
The dead things should probably go through cremation period before they start moving again. Just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Wait.
Tradition says
to move after you light them on fire.
Some people do keep moving after you light them on fire.
In this time, have I managed to build a second Skitterbot squirrel?
Yes. Yeah, it only takes you a couple minutes.
Yeah, this one I have specifically built with superior reading and language comprehension, and I will be like, and I will ask it to read the runes while looking at the other nanobots and just like shaking my like a disappointed parent, like.
Okay. All right. So use.
I'm gonna hold up the.
Yeah, so you can use a point of genius on that, and then give me a occult or intelligence check if you have it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Intelligence check or occult if you have it.
I don't think I have occult.
I don't think you do either.
No, it's etherics and gadgetry. Mm-hmm. But I mean gadgetry.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, and intelligence. So. Would it be my intelligence plus 3? 13.
13? Okay.
Yes.
The nanobots are they are not able to tell you what it says either. However, they can recreate it. So they have enough written in that one line of text that they are able to recreate some of the other letters. You're not 100% sure if it's totally accurate, but they give you a good on the table they like make out what appears to be an alphabet, similar to what these glyphs are on the paper.
So they're giving me what it fully says, even what I couldn't see, or they're giving me an
No,
alphabet.
no, they're not translating it, but instead of translating it for you, they're I guess hypothesizing what the full alphabet might be, or
Got it.
what the full set of glyphs
Full
might
sentence,
be.
we'll say. That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Yeah, they're not
Yep.
giving me a code. They're giving me what they think the glyphs
Yep.
look like, fully mapped out.
Yep.
I look at Aaron and I'm like, can you translate this?
No, we gotta talk to Roz. She's good at this.
I will
Bacon.
take out a little picture taking device so I can take a picture. Actually, you know what? I will take the nanobots and I will say, very good. Now, back to the shape of a squirrel. We will need to show this to somebody else.
Okay.
I will just bring them with
So
me.
they cover up into the shape of the squirrel shape again and climb up, skitter up on your shoulder. About that time, you hear a real tiny ding sound, and your other the other skitterbots have reformed also into the shape of a squirrel. And is that one, refresh my memory on the ability on that one? It's a skill. It gives you a skill, right? One of your skills. I'm pretty sure that's it. You can.
So it's really strange. All of my robot things are gone now.
Oh no.
Yeah,
it's completely blank.
Oh,
if
I
I
see
remember
that.
the skitterbots, you could give the skitterbot one of your skills so it could use your skills.
Okay. So
yeah, black metal robot that resembles a squirrel but actually consists of hundreds of tiny robots. When created, you can assign any non-charisma based skill you possess to the squirrel. On command, the skitterbots will move to the location you designate and perform that skill. Okay. Yes. So for sorry, I'm looking what's going on with your character.
You made it disappear
it is
again.
still up there. It is still up there at the top. It was just all spread out, like there was a bunch of little individual windows open. So
totally blank for me.
Oh no. Okay. Well, good news is I can read it. Okay. At least for now. Yes. So they analyze the little bit of Highlife that you gave them, and on the high roll that you got, they believe that they can. It tells you basically that. What does it tell you? Using your skitterbots, you can see that you now have a little bit of visibility into what you believe is another plane, probably the void, based on what Aaron has already told you before. But it's you don't think that it'll last very long, but it's within like a couple of feet of you. All of a sudden, you see this like vision over this double vision almost overlaid over your vision as you're looking through your skitterbot's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't see very far. It's only like a couple feet or something like that. But they definitely were able to make some use out of the chemical compound of the Highlife.
Now, would seeing into the void be useful for anything that I could think of?
This is so. Aaron has definitely more experience than you do at this. This is completely foreign to you. You've never, based on your studies in etherics, that the void exists and that's the source of most magic. And that's when you put your stuff together, most of it is utilizing aether as fuel. But you've never actually looked into it before, so this is totally foreign to you.
I look at Aaron and I'm like, why would anyone need a bunch of drug addicts to be able to see into the void?
That's deep.
Whoa, ogre.
They're being
C-A-T.
D spelled dog.
Yesterday there were these things, these tendrils of like it's hard to describe, but it was connecting them all to something just I don't know how far away, but
Are they feeding something in the void with these junkies? Ew!
Yeah.
It could
maybe
be, since some of them seem to have died from it.
Oh,
that's
that is very gross. And I look
Again,
at
we
my
should.
squirrel and I'm like, you've done a very good job.
like they might be feeding something, or they might just be draining some sort of power.
I
Again, you
mean,
probably shouldn't be taking this.
if they're draining the power out of them, that power would be going somewhere. So I would assume it would be to feed something, whether it's a
Yeah.
machine
I would think it's
or
probably
a
some entity.
monster.
Yes.
Or some mage person who's just trying to gather
Or do
enough
many
power for some ritual.
mages live in the void?
No. Nope.
No. I don't think so.
So then it seems like that just seems like a weird step to take then to go into the void to extract power from here. I just don't feel like why not like an A to B connect, you know?
I mean,
If
it
it's going
might
to be a
come back
mage.
out of the void on the other side.
I think it's definitely a tentacle monster
That's probably right. That seems like our luck.
feeding
That
off
does-
these humans.
It does seem most likely.
Well, you know those
Well-
juggies that we knocked out. They gotta know something. They were in the same place where the whole room full of dead bodies were. We can find them.
What do you
How
think they
much-
might know?
Do you
they
think
gotta know
anyone knows when they're high off their butts?
Oh yeah, not the druggies, the people that work there, the knuckleheads that tried to kill us.
Oh, the Iron Rats?
Yeah.
We could also go talk to the one that's in the hospital. Whose
Yeah.
foot seems to be injured.
Although I'm sure when he comes to, he'll be hopping mad.
Not if you give him some high life.
Yeah, maybe let's try and sorry, out of character now. Let's try and find out where he is. He probably be easiest to find.
Oh, like I said, he's probably still in the hospital.
I
But
believe.
I think we should probably go see Rosalind first, since she's not that far.
Yeah.
I believe I could use my computer skills, my engineering skills, to hack into said hospital's admin system, and would like to try to do. Oh, but do we know his name?
No, but there probably
think-
aren't that many people who've been registered at a hospital in the factory level that had their foot blown off.
Yes, I would like to go into their admin system and search for patient admissions within the past 24 hours with foot injuries.
Okay.
Specifically the right foot.
With some acid.
Erik, you're really leaning on your bad jokes, says Jeffrey McKay. Okay, so that's not exactly how the system works. That information is available
Yes.
typically, but
I'm
it
guessing
doesn't- you
I'm
can't quite-
saying with my background, because I have an
Yes,
engineer
so-
background and I have a gamer, like the gamer. Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Oh
with
no,
the-
no, I do.
Where I'm
it's
going
not quite
with
like
this?
hacking over the internet though. So there are systems that exist that people use. They're called nodes, and essentially we've already talked about weaves previously in the game, which are basically reflections of events in the real world. Engineers such as ciphers such as yourself have created artificial weaves, which they call nodes, and those nodes are used to store information. So
But they aren't all necessarily interconnected. Is that what you're saying? The hospital system is
Well,
isolated. Or I would have to get to a
So
node.
the information is probably available in that node. You would need to probably be in the hospital. Yeah, you would probably need to be close to it in order to do anything like that. There are people called specters in particular that specialize in like sending their mind through the void to basically hack. But that is an ability beyond your skills.
Okay. I whisper quietly into my Skitterbot squirrel's ear. And then suddenly it bites me. And I'm like, ow, my hand. I think I need to go to the hospital.
I see what you did there.
We probably want to go to the factory for the factory level, because the hospital he would have been taken to would have been down there.
Well,
Yes,
you know-
I need to go to a factory level hospital.
After we go speak to Ron.
Oh man. I like take a bunch of napkins and wrap it around my hand. Like, I guess.
Do you want me to take a look at that? Because I can take a look at your hand to fix that probably.
You can always split up.
I already took one for the team. No, thank you.
I was wondering why you did that, because I could probably use my credentials to get access to the administration.
You know, we might find him at the bank checking his balance.
In hindsight, yes. I just wrap more napkins around my hands.
If everyone's done eating, I say we go speak to Ron. Did you get your 3 French fries?
Yes, I only eat the middle one.
Yes, in some point during your conversation, the food was
That would
delivered.
technically be a balanced meal.
The 3 French
I look
fries
at you
with the
disappointed
milkshake
for
and
many
some bacon,
reasons.
and then an entire plate of bacon for Aaron, and then a bowl of fruit with a whiskey, and then Doc Steele's cleans up the rest of his plate, and they take his away. Okay. Oh my gosh! And you only eat the middle fry, is that what we said, of the 3?
Just the middle fry.
Okay.
The other 2 seem to have an attitude, and I didn't really like it.
You are so weird.
Yeah. Oh boy! All right, so we're going to the hospital, or we're going to Rosalind's?
Go to Roz. Roz is nearby.
Okay.
The factory
All right.
is a bit more of a trip.
While Doc Steele is trying to get everybody rounded up and Aaron off the table with her hangover, give me a perception check, Colonel. I almost said Wahlberg.
Colonel Wahlberg. Here we go.
It is Colonel Wall, right?
Yes, WAL.
Yeah.
Just a 10.
10.
These are 2 very German last names.
Persuasion? Wait, persuasion or perception check?
Perception.
Thank
Perception.
you.
Perception.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That means I get to re-roll.
It's worse.
Perfect. It's a worse roll.
Good job.
Oh, good grief. Now the crowd's getting into it. That last joke didn't have a leg to stand on. Okay. All right. So you're getting everybody. Go ahead.
I was just say the joke does tie everything together like a shoestring.
Yep. Nice bow. With a nice bow. All right. So you guys get up and are ready to go up to the 3rd tier of the city. It's generally speaking a combination of elevators, and there are some lifts and stuff like that go in between the levels, but for the most part it's stairs or elevators to get up there. Go ahead.
Oh, and I will say I did take my bacon and put it in my pocket to go. I did wrap it in a napkin before putting it in my pocket.
Okay, that's good. That's good, because it might stain otherwise.
On
the grease stain.
God forbid an engineer have any grease stains.
Erin eats as much bacon as she can, and then she when the waiter comes back, she's like, "This goes on his tab." She points at Doc Steele.
And I'm like, that's odd that I don't have a tab.
He knows you guys have been regulars around here for a long time, so he's not too worried about it. He just kind of looks at Doc and's like, okay, all right. Hope she gets to feeling better.
Char starts her shift this evening, correct?
Char starts, come back
Clara.
for dishes.
Sorry, Clara. Clara starts her shift.
Yeah, she should. Yeah.
All right. I'm getting ready to leave. I
thought you were gonna set Aaron up for washing dishes or something.
No,
I heard Char.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, like I say, it's a combination of stairs and elevators and other kinds of lifts. There are some aero ships and stuff that go transport between the levels, but for the most part, it's you're hoofing it.
They have those vertical,
particularly from the lowest level. I mean, once you get up in the higher levels, then it's a lot more automated. But they don't want factory people coming up into the upper levels a lot of times.
They have those vertical trains that go up, deliver the.
Yeah, probably. There are certain, it's
For cargo.
oversized elevator type thing. Yeah. Okay, so you go up to the 3rd level. You pass a couple places where you have to show your ID or something like that to the local syndicate guards, paid security, the things like that, just to not necessarily to get past or not to get by them, or not with the intent of getting into some cleared area, but more like, hey, what are you supposed to be here type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron is able to lead you to Rosalind's bookshop. It's pretty nice, in a pretty nice part of town, and it stands out because, as with a lot of eccentric bookshops like that, it's not run down necessarily, but there's just a lot of stuff in the windows, and the book, the welcome mat out there is some quippy thing about don't let the door hit you on the way out or something like that. If you don't like books, then don't let the door hit you on your way out, sort of
Nice.
joke. Yeah. So what are we doing?
Going in.
I go in, and I look around to see if Roz is there.
The bacon made you feel a whole lot better, by the way, Aaron. So
yeah, I do feel a lot better, more like myself.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you open the door, and you're very familiar with the shop already, but to everybody else, there's a unusual bell chime. Kind of sounds like it was supposed to be a bell, but it's some sort of Aethertech like gadget that wasn't maybe made so well, and it gives this warbly sound instead of an actual bell. But yeah, it notifies the shop owner that somebody's entering the place. And as you come in, it's just, you walk in, there's a very small area where it's free of debris, and I say debris, free of books and stuff. But you can tell that that's clearly just so that the door could open and close. Otherwise, it would probably have been filled up long ago, because almost every other free available space is just filled with stuff. And it's mostly books, but there's certainly other things that are for sale as well, like weird statues and incense burners, and kind of all that accoutrements that go with that stereotypical type of shop. Nobody immediately visible though either. There's several rows of books that run perpendicular to the front wall of the shop, and then you can go down maybe 20 or 30 feet deeper into the shop.
I start heading to the occult section.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that the whole building?
There's like the tourist occult section.
Okay.
And then there's the real occult section.
Gotcha.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Aaron beelines for the back of the shop, goes through a curtain, and you're like, "What? Where is she going?" Doesn't say anything. She just kind of walks off like she owns the place.
And then
heads
I'm
back
following.
behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Precious, I've been trying to get in here for years. You told me it's always fully booked.
I look at both my squirrels and shake my head. No.
And they all shake their heads too.
Just all three of us, one on each shoulder. Just, no.
Oh boy. Okay.
Well,
all right. So
you obviously didn't pay the cover charge.
So Precious and oh, jeez. Colonel and Precious, what are you guys doing? So Doc Steele and Aaron walk off to the back.
I'll be wandering around as well. I say there's got to be a glyph translation section here somewhere.
This is specifically a cult bookshop, correct?
That's the general theme. Yes.
Yeah. I look around for the store shopkeeper.
Okay. It doesn't take long, because as soon as Aaron beelines into the back of the shop, you hear, "What's this? What's going on? Who is back here?" And she's like, "Oh my God, as I live and breathe, Aaron, what have you been doing?
Rose!
And so you go back, and this frizzy-haired, 60-something older woman, older Daoni lady who's got spectacles on, and she's looking at some giant tome in front of her on the desk, and you've walked back into this area and kind of interrupted her, and she's, there's cigarette smoke coming up out of the ashtray next to her and all kinds of stuff. And she's looking at you now over the top of her spectacles, like, what are you doing here? And you hear all that. She's not at all. I mean, she's very loud. So Precious and Colonel, you hear that coming from the back of the shop.
I'll mosey over.
I will go to the back of the shop.
Okay. Yeah, it's just a curtain. There's a doorway back there, but it's just separated by a curtain from the rest of the shop. You see Aaron standing in front of the older lady as I described, and the room back here is just as full of stuff as the other part of it.
Go ahead.
I look around, and I'm oh, did you get new books in?
She's like, oh, you noticed? Yeah, I didn't know if anybody would recognize some of this new stuff that I just got down from Seaside this last week.
Oh, incredible.
It really is.
You'll have to tell me all about it.
Oh, sure. Do you have time now?
Yeah.
We're actually a little busy. We were hoping you might be able to help us with a quick translation.
Translation? Oh, okay. Well, I do have some free time now, I guess. What do you need translated?
These are some glyphs that we found on this slip of paper. Would you be able to tell us what they mean or what they're used for?
Okay. Yeah.
But the glyphs on the paper are incomplete, right? They're kind of incomplete, and my robots are the ones that.
Yeah.
So I look at the ones where I'm like, now's your time. Do the thing.
Okay, yeah, so they skitter off your shoulder onto the desk near her, and she's like, whoa, what is going on? And she looks at the piece of paper first that you hand her, and she's like, this is a list of names.
No, at the top, right there. Those little scribbles, if you look a little closer.
Oh, I see. And then the Skitterbot squirrel...
Skitters.
Skitters, yeah, gets out in front of there on the desk and lays out in a more complete message, and she starts looking at it, and she's like, oh, I haven't seen this in a long time. And so she goes back, she says, hold on a second, and walks back further into the shop and starts looking at this bookshelf that is clearly too tall for her. She's trying to reach a book up here, and then she thinks about it for a second. She's like, yeah, okay. And she's reaching as high as she can. She can't quite get to the book.
I'm gonna
Colonel,
go.
You might want to be able to help her.
I'll climb up her back and sit on her shoulders and get the book for this one.
Okay, so the Colonel steps to help, and not before the Halbkin crawls up the old lady's back and stands on her shoulders, just like the old days. Okay. So she says, yeah, that's the one. And so she brings this other book and sticks it on top of the giant book that she's got already sitting on the desk, and she starts looking through it, and she's looking at the squirrel. She's looking at the Skitterbots and comparing it, and she's like, yes, okay, I think this is it. And she says that this is like an ancient text from the days of the orcs, when the orcs owned this part of the world, basically when the orcs were here. So she says this type of text hasn't been around or used in eons, like forever. It's amazing that somebody just wrote it on a napkin or wrote it on a sheet of paper. Like it's really bizarre. But she says she would probably need a little bit of time to translate it fully, but from the look of it, it looks like she's like, I think it's really just describing like a location. Like, is it an address or something? It looks like it's describing something.
How long do you think it would
Describing
take
some
you?
sort of location. She says there's numbers There's a name. I can't quite make out the name.
What kind of location?
Can you tell us what the numbers are?
Yeah, she says 1738. And then she's like, I can't pronounce the name. It's can't quite make my throat make that noise.
Do you think it's related to the void?
Well, I don't know exactly.
Is it just referencing a location here that would be called something else today because it's just using an old nomenclature for it?
She says, aha, I think you might be onto something. And so she, pardon me. She says, yeah, you know what? I think you might be right. This is somewhere in the old city. So she means factory, somewhere down on the first level. And she's like, I think that maybe it's talking about, does the watchful eye mean anything to you?
Not especially, no.
Does it?
No, I don't think it probably does. If Erin wanted to roll an occult check, she could, but otherwise, it doesn't. The name itself doesn't mean anything.
Let's try.
Okay.
14.
Nope, doesn't seem to ring a bell with you either. She says, if you're willing to leave it with me for a little bit, I'm sure I can come up with something with a better translation for you.
I don't think there's a problem with that.
Yeah. I trust Roz.
Okay, well that's great. I'm excited. It's just like the old days, Erin. You and me working together again.
I don't know why I left.
Because there wasn't enough room with all the books.
That was it.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Okay. Yeah, so she says leave it with her for a couple hours or maybe the rest of the day, and she can piece together exactly what the glyphs mean. And she says if you need the little skittery things back, I can write it down. Are you taking those with you, or can you leave them?
Oh,
Probably best if you write that down.
yeah, I think we should write it down. I'd like to take them with me.
Okay, yeah, no problem. So she gets a pencil and paper out, and she starts shakily writing down the equivalent of what your skitterbots are telling her there on a piece of paper. Everyone at this, well, yeah, not yet. Okay, so what are you? Sorry, what are you guys gonna do?
Well, now that everyone has been said, now we're all paranoid.
That's exactly. Damn it.
So now I'm getting ready to be attacked. So we got to roll initiative.
While we're
Roll
waiting.
initiative. The books are falling.
Well, I guess we can go down. Do we want to go to the factory level now, or wait until we get an address?
How long will it take if we want to wait for her to give us more?
She said a few hours.
Yeah, she said that she could probably have something in a couple hours. Better idea. She's got to look through the whole tome to translate it and all that good stuff.
I feel like we could wait.
I don't think we have anything pressing.
Well, there's always the hospital with Mr.
Well, we could go to the hospital in the
Let's
meantime.
go to the hospital.
There is, but we have to go to the factory level for that, which we have to go to the factory level for the address she's going to give us.
I thought you said that exercise was healthy last week.
It is, but it doesn't have to be useless.
Okay.
We would be wasting a lot of time if we went down there to go investigate and then come back and then go back down there.
Well, I have an extra cigar, and I sit back and grab a book.
Okay.
So I'm gonna sit with Roz and have her tell me all about her new books.
Okay.
Yeah.
She starts
kill time.
Yeah, so she is excellent at multitasking. So she's writing stuff down, looking through the books, and she's talking the entire time. like the entire she's taking the opportunity to talk to you as much as she can, talk your ear off. Okay, as soon as so it sounds like Doc and Colonel and Precious, however, will probably at least go up to the front or maybe even out.
Sure.
Yes.
Not that I'm
I will start kind of like
hinting at anything.
randomly perusing through books because I'm nosy.
Okay, great.
Touching stuff, looking at stuff.
Right. You find a section on ancient engineering as like catapults and ballistas and bridges that, you know, arches.
Well,
I look at like it's almost like I'm reading it like I read it, but then I've got my skitterbat squirrels and like I point things out to them and I'm like, oh, this is really like maybe this.
Yeah.
We can do something with this.
Yeah, particularly the arches part. They're like, oh yeah, they make little arches out of themselves.
You said the void was brought into existence about 50 years ago.
So the initial pardon me, the initial like experiment was about 60 some years ago, 65, 66 years ago. But the Commonwealth expanded it over the entire planet about 50, yeah.
And what was the tech level before the invention of the void?
So they were prior to about 100 years ago or so was really when technology started moving into more of an industrialized type era, but they were still mostly kingdoms and kingdom type governments, that sort of thing, prior to the Commonwealth.
Gotcha. So yeah. I was just wondering, was the Edwardian sort of level pre-industrial? It's all like water wheels and wagons and horses and stuff about 100 years ago.
Yep. Yeah, huge advancements in the last 50 years in particular. Essentially, after the people, the scientists in particular, and engineers started learning that they could power stuff with magic.
Cool.
Okay, so Colonel and Doc Steele, will you guys go up front, and Colonel's going to go out and smoke on a cigar, and when you do so, there is a gentleman in a trench coat and a hat out there out front, and he's standing across the street, but he's watching the front door of the shop. And as soon as one of you come out, probably we'll say Colonel in this case, since he's gonna go smoke, he flips his notebook closed and he steps across the street towards you, not threateningly. He's just like, hey, good afternoon. How are you?
Doing fine, sir.
He reaches a hand out to shake yours and says, Detective Samuel Briggs.
I don't recognize the name, right?
You do not.
Colonel Wall. You can call me the Colonel.
The Colonel. Okay. I just had a couple of questions for you if you got a few minutes. And Doc Steele, you see this going on. You're inside still, but through the window, through whatever space available in the window, you see the Colonel start to talk to somebody.
Yeah, I'll go outside.
Okay. Yeah, friendly, fairly amicable-looking individual in a trench coat and hat, and he's talking to the Colonel. It's got a few, just a few questions.
What's going on, Colonel?
Well, I been looking into some drug activity in the lower levels here in the last couple of weeks, and I got word that maybe you might know something about it.
What drug were you looking into? We don't usually deal with.
Yeah,
I mean, I buy pharmaceuticals, but I'm not really doing any illicit drugs.
Pharmaceuticals. That's a big word, Doc. That's a big word. He says something like, so he makes a dramatic effort of looking into his book, clearly not needing to, but he's like,
Sure.
Highlife, I hear it's called on the streets. It's really messing people up.
And you're with which agency?
He says, I'm with the Renmark Constabulary. Detective. Maybe I missed that.
Detective, it's good to see that you're taking an interest into this obviously blight upon the lower populations. We've been hearing terrible things happening with people not showing up for work and all sorts of crime going on in regards to this new substance.
So,
Highlife.
Detective, what did you say your last name was?
Briggs.
Briggs. So you're either
Sam Briggs. You can call me Sam.
You're either the world's dumbest detective or you're hiding something, because obviously there's tons of drug stuff going on down there, and Highlife is the stuff. What do you want to know?
Aha, I see. Well, he's like, well, yeah, of course there's a lot of drugs going on in the factory. There always is. This stuff is new. Seems to be really potent.
Have there been some incidents in association with it or something?
Well, no, he says, well, there's dead people that, people have been dying of overdoses all over the place, all over down in the city. And I got word just yesterday that you've been snooping around asking about it. So I wanted to finally figure out what you knew about it and what your interests were.
I look at Colonel for a second and go, well, we were hired to look for a missing individual that seems to be associated with this usage. We, so far, haven't been able to track down his whereabouts, but we have encountered a few reprobates that are dealing this material.
Reprobates. Another big word, Doc. He says, he flips open his thing. He's like, and what was who is that you're looking for? What was the name again?
His name is Marty.
Marty. Is that of the McDonald's Martys or?
What is Clara's last name?
You did. You don't know.
McFly, something like that.
McFly. Oh, dang, I missed that one.
That was the one I was using. McFly. But
dang it.
He's been missing for at least 4 days now.
4 days, you don't say. Well, I've had about a dozen corpses in 4 days. They don't seem to be coming back from this one. You guys hear about the fire down there last night? You wouldn't have had anything to do with that, would you?
We did hear about it, yes.
Interesting. So so he's trying to coax information out of you. He's basically like trying to figure out where you don't get the impression that he is investigating you. You've kind of, over the course of the conversation, get to it's clear that he is running out of leads. Let's put it that way. So he's like, yeah, so what have you found out?
All indications we have is this seems to be distributed by Iron Rats at this point. They're
the Iron Rats. I know those guys.
We don't seem to think that they're the manufacturer, but they seem to be making dens where people can come and partake of it. And there's this substance doesn't seem to be very stable.
Yeah, you can say that again. It's killing people. What
I'm curious is if you have any reports on the autopsies of these individuals. What was the cause of death?
What kind of doctor are you, Doc?
I've got a medical doctorate as well as pharmacology.
Okay. Yeah, so he actually give me a persuasion check.
Sure. It's a 18.
18. Okay. He says pharmacological. Well, okay. He starts scribbling down in his notebook, and you get a glance at it, and he's writing down a Vox connection for you. Vox is like a magical device that you can communicate with other people. Yep. And he's like he scribbles down something, and it has a doctor's name on it. It's Dr. Wyatt Patterson, and it says coroner on it. And he says, why don't you speak to this guy, doctor to doctor. Maybe he can tell you something, but I don't know anything about no autopsies.
Do you need any help with analysis of this substance?
Well,
I can offer my services if you need some investigation.
Well, sure. We're always looking for, I'm always looking for leads. I can always use some help. Certainly. He says, just give me, if you come up with anything, let me know, because me and the boys are getting really tired of taking people down to the morgue on this one, and
Terrible thing.
really would like some help in trying to figure out what's going on.
Do you
And
have
so
he
go ahead.
So do you have a direct Vox numbers that I could reach you to?
Yeah, so the way that and he pulls out his Vox, and it's basically like it's a magical device. It's kind of like a walkie-talkie, but it's like it doesn't have any speakers or anything audible on it. It's essentially a rectangle that you carry around, and it's tethered to you as an individual. So you kind of like
it's a personal ID.
What's the D&D term?
Sending spell?
Bound, soul bound.
Yeah, what's the soul bound? When you take a magic item, attune it. It's basically attuned. It's basically attuned to you. Hey, thanks for the subscription, Dave. It's attuned to you, and then you can use it to call anybody else that you've interacted with. So he pulls out his Vox, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, here." And the routine is basically it's just a magical connection. So you connect with his Vox. And the cool thing about, I think it's cool. The cool thing about the Vox device is instead of that sort of tingy sound that you get when you talk to other people, it's more like a ghostly. When you're talking like in the movies when you hear the ghost talking from beyond, it's the
echoey sort of hollow sound.
Yeah, the echoey sort of hollow sound. Yeah, when you're communicating between boxes. But yeah, he's like, if you come up with anything else, please reach out to me first thing, and I'm sure that me and the department can come down and help and provide some resources in your investigation. And then he says, call Doc Patterson as soon as you can, and I'm sure he'll let you come down and check out the bodies.
Thank you very much. And again, if you need some analysis of any of this or any other cases that come up, feel free to reach out. I can help with any of your evidence.
Okay, and he kind of gives you a chin. He's like, Colonel. And he moves off down the street. And that is where we will end today. Episode 2 of the Strange and Grim RPG of a Dieselpunk RPG with the adventure called Highlife. And we will pick it up again in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today on...
That would be
the 17th of September. September 17th, 3 p.m. Central or 1 p.m. Pacific time. And real quick, before we run out of time, let's go around and I'll not ambush Milynn this time.
Milynn again?
I'll start with Char. Let's start with Char and just give us a quick, how do you do?
How do you do?
All right. And Kyle. No. Just yet. What are you working on right now, Char?
I'm currently working on a couple of projects I can't talk about with the Grims, and I am
Damn
also
NDA.
Where can we buy these products?
Grims.com, but not yet. And also with Evil Genius, I am working on the Rambo cinematic adventure. Should be coming out soon-ish.
Yeah, that's right. And Evil Genius has a military book coming out to Kickstarter. Not coming out, but going to Kickstarter in October?
Yeah,
November.
Upcoming will be Everyday Arcana and the military handbook. I think there's like 1 or 2 more smaller things.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
So there's the military book, and then there's the weapons locker.
That's right, weapons locker.
Yeah.
So if you're not familiar with Everyday Heroes, go over to Evil Genius Games or evilgenius.com. Evilgeniusgames.com.
Evilgeniusgames.com.
Yeah, check them out. It's a fun system. All right, Doc Steele, Kyle.
Hi, you guys can find me at Twitter, Kyle Vogt, or Instagram, Kyle.Vogt. I've got an indie feature film that I did a small part in coming out soon called Free LSD. It's kind of a weird band meets sci-fi cross-dimensional adventure. And you catch me on the stream, obviously, and anytime I pop up, I'll let you know on those socials.
Nice.
Great. Thank you, sir. And Erik.
Appropriate tie-in for the game we're playing.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, awesome. So, honor to be playing with these folks, by the way. These guys are all super cool, very talented people. So I'm a content creator for a TikTok comedy channel called Dad Jokes and Dragons. It's pretty popular so far, been around about 3.5 months. And if you like puns, you like D&D, fantasy stuff, we do cosplay. It's pretty fun. Also on Mondays, I'm on Gen Con TV. It's Dress to Quest, ongoing full cosplay Dungeons and Dragons campaign. And that's at 6 p.m. PST on Mondays.
Great. Thank you, sir. And last but not least, Milynn.
I currently stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays. In my free time, I am romancing a sassy vampire elf. And
Baldur's Gate 3 reference.
I think they know.
Some people may.
And I think that's it. I was like, my mind just went blank. You can find me everywhere at Milynn Moon. I do other stuff that I don't necessarily say on Twitch and YouTube.
You're romancing your horse?
And I have a horse that I'm going to go train right now.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Fun stuff. Okay, well, I'm Matt Everhart, writer of Strange and Grim, being produced by Gaxx. And you can find me usually most places at kc.rift, which is a long story. We'll go into it another time. But kc.rift on Twitter, Instagram, all those good things. At Facebook, if I still use it anymore. And like I say, this has been Strange and Grim, the episode or the adventure is called Highlife. And we will see you again in 2 weeks. See you later, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.